Hey, it's Dan Mandison. I love My Patriot Supply. It's emergency food so you can care for your family no matter what. And today, we're fixing creamy chicken flavored rice. And the thing I love about My Patriot Supply, it's easy. You just get the water, turn on the heat, and in minutes, we are ready to go. Now, this food lasts for 25 years in special packaging, and yes, it does taste great. And in just minutes, it's ready to eat. Patriots don't rely on the government to take care of their family in emergencies. It's up to you. Order right now and get $200 off a 3-month food kit. It's important to go to preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. That's preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. Preparewithmandis.com. $200 off a 3-month food kit.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's 7 minutes now past the hour, 3 o'clock as we kick off another exciting edition of The Drive for this 28th day of March. It's a beautiful, sunshiny day. Not quite as warm as I hoped it'd be, but I think we got some nice weather coming. Let's all settle in. If you're out driving around, let's get you home safely as you make your evening, afternoon errands, and then get you back home, all right? Look, and as I said to Matt Murphy a few moments ago, I have no expectations. This is going to be this is going to work out well. This is probably going to be a disastrous segment. I'll just put that out there first because I am always shocked, stunned, and amazed that when something happens, and terrible things happen in the world, and then like for example, we have this bridge thing in Baltimore. It's tragic. People have lost their lives, 6 people dead, and an economic impact to that community and by the way, the nation. But it's almost like immediately people start putting out on the social media. It looks intentional to me. Oh, this is a black swan event. I remember when we had remember the Christmas Day bombing in downtown Nashville? Man, you would not have believed in the aftermath of that all of the unbelievably bizarre and crazy things people were saying about what that was really all about. And as it turns out, it just was a crazy man who built a bomb in an RV. All of the things that people were talking about simply, sort of faded after we got more information. And I think that's it. When there's a lack of information, people want to fill that gap. But so I'm gonna give you some information about what the latest is on that bridge. But if you're one of those people out there who believes, and I'm not going to mock you, I'm going to listen with open ears. I don't see this as being anything other than a tragic accident and a really bad set of circumstances that all came together at one moment. But I'll be honest with you, that's where I'm at it, the way I look at it. But I'm going to be open to your ideas. So if you got another idea, and if you think I'm wrong, well, then call 615-737-9986. Tell me why you think this is intentional, and tell me why you think this is something other than, what I think it is, which is an unfortunate accident. First of all, just a little bit of background right now. The other day, you heard the president say that the federal government's going to pay for the replacement of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Well, that may well be true in the short term, but I don't think it was the right thing to say, because you know what's going to happen. There's going to be lawsuits, and there's going to be a huge insurance payout on all this, a really big one, and that will ultimately reimburse for the cost of the bridge. Even the Secretary of Treasury sort of suggested the other day that President Biden had overspoken in saying that. But does that mean that there's going to be some expense? Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think ultimately that money comes back. Here's a story about that from CNBC. The collapse of a major Baltimore bridge and its knock-on effects could result in the largest ever marine insurance payout. The chair of insurance giant Lloyd's of London said on Thursday, analysts have forecast that insured losses from the disaster could amount to a figure in the single-digit billions of dollars after a huge cargo ship crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge on Tuesday. Baltimore, the 11th largest port in the U.S., the country's busiest for the import of autos and light trucks. Supply chain operators are scrambling to minimize the impact on trade. There is a huge economic impact, $80 billion a year. $80 billion a year in business goes in and out of that port, and it sort of radiates beyond just the port. You got all of the businesses that then take the goods that come into the port and then transport them across the country by truck, by rail, and they're having an impact. The local economy. This is probably the economic engine of Baltimore for all practical purposes, and there are going to be people without work for a while. I think perhaps one of the good news elements here is that even if they're going to take a while to rebuild the bridge, it seems as if they're going to get the port open pretty quick. They're going to be able to clear. They're bringing in cranes even today to start clearing the wreckage so that they can get people in and out of that port. Now, it may take a long time to rebuild the bridge, but it will not take a tremendously long time, it would seem. I'm thinking maybe weeks before the port could be opened, and you can get ships in and ships out. And then they'll rebuild the bridge, and there may be some times where they have to shut down the port while they're doing that, but mostly they can get the port back open. But it's not going to be anytime soon before that bridge is rebuilt. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, boy, these people are good, aren't they? Deploying more than 1,100 personnel to Baltimore. The Corps Baltimore District has activated its Emergency Operations Center, clearing the way for more than 1,100 engineering, construction, contracting, operations specialists to provide support to local, state, and federal agencies in clearing the fallen bridge. The crumbling bridge sent multiple cars and construction workers who had been filling potholes into the chilly waters below. 6 people presumed dead. They recovered a couple of bodies on that today. Here's that. Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. Recent collapse. They got 2 bodies recovered for the search today. By the way, this ship, the Dolly cargo ship, I gave you some numbers yesterday about this thing, about how big this is. I said it was like 90,000 tons. You know what? That's empty. Yeah, I got that. I wrote down some numbers here. It's 95,000 tons when empty. It can hold as many as 10,000 20-foot containers. It was carrying about 4,700 containers at the time. So we're talking about a weight in excess of an aircraft carrier. And this is this is 985 feet. If you were to stand it on its end, it would be 985 feet in the. It would be about the same size as the Eiffel Tower. It would be about 2/3 the size of the Empire State Building. So it's a big ship that takes a lot of time to stop it and to turn it. And that's especially true when it's fully loaded, has a tremendous amount of mass. Literally, I read a thing about aircraft carriers, and this is heavier than an aircraft carrier, that went at speed about 30 knots, 25 to 30 knots. An aircraft carrier takes 3 miles once the power is turned off to come to a complete stop. 3 nautical miles. So it takes a long time to steer these things. It takes a long time to shut them down. And the worst case scenario is when you lose power. Now, I've read people say, well, there are backups. There are backup systems, but I'm reading of the assessment of an engineer for the company Maersk. He seemed to have a pretty good idea about what happened. He said there are only 2 things that cause a complete loss of power, and one of them is a situation where you lose fuel or there's a problem with the fuel. That's why I think you've heard so many people talk about perhaps there was some dirty fuel, or a complete meltdown of the computer systems that operate this. Now, one of the things he said was what happened is you saw the backup systems come online. First you have the power failure, and there's a beat, or and then all of a sudden the automatic systems start to kick in, and they bring it back alive. That's the automatic system kicking in. And then he put the thing in reverse, full astern. He gave it everything he could to try to slow it down. And apparently that did not work well. And because it was working on a backup system that was more easily overloaded, the thing goes down again. Now, that was his explanation of what he thought had happened. But again, once you are adrift, if you ever had a bass boat, if you ever been in a bass boat and you know that, you can't steer when you have no power to the screws or to the prop, right? So, you just wherever you lost power, whatever momentum you had, you're going to go forward in that direction. I learned this quite the hard way on a jet ski. You have no ability to steer once you turn the engine off, or there's no more thrust coming out of the back. You just are going, and you can turn that handle as much as you want to, but you really can't. You really can't steer at that point. So, look, the way it looks to me is that it was a tragic thing. It was an accident. But I am absolutely willing to say that I'm not an engineer. I'm not. I've never captained a 1,000-foot container ship. I've been around the port of Baltimore, know a little bit about how it operates. There was a pilot on board. That's standard operating procedure for going through the Chesapeake Bay, getting out of Baltimore Harbor and down the Chesapeake Bay. You hire a local pilot to be there on the bridge with you, and to guide the ship through all the parts. But it was a catastrophic failure of some kind, in my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. 615-737-9986. I know you've seen the things that are out there on social media. I mean, there are many, many, many people who come to the opinion at looking at the video that this was intentional. So tell me why you think it's intentional. I want to know. Honestly, I'm just very curious about it. Don in Winchester, you're up first on the drive. So, Don, give me your thought about this. Because as I look at this, I see an accident. But I mean, I understand that people can look at the same set of facts and come up with a different opinion. What is your opinion about all this?
I'm like you, Brian. I believe it was an accident. And the reason why I say that, like you said, just before he hit the bridge, you saw the black smoke where he throwed it in reverse, trying to, change a mistake on that part of it. If it was intentional, we'd have seen that black smoke about 400 or 500 yards before that, trying to hit it as fast as he could. So I'm like you. I think it's an accident.
All right. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. 615-737-9986. If you have a different opinion, I'm really anxious to hear it. Jason in Dixon, you're on with Brian on the drive. Hey, Jason, what's up?
Hey, how are you? I can't say for sure, like I said, if it's an accident or not. In my field, I work in cyber. Some of these attacks that could be this sophisticated take months to set up. You know, talking about cyber attacks, we're looking at, the border issue, Chinese nationals, Iranian nationals, foreign adversaries coming across our border. We don't know where they are. We don't know what their area of expertise is, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility where somebody planted malware on that ship, somebody who did a lot of research as to backup systems, and possibly like what other actions the pilot can take, like I said, if there was an emergency to take part. So I'm not saying, I'm just taking things with a grain of salt and going to say that there is a possibility it's something other than an accident.
All right. Listen, thank you for that. I appreciate that point of view. One of the things that you see in the videos, you see as the bridge collapsed, you see sparks. And a lot of people have pointed to the sparks saying, well, that looks like an explosion. Were there explosives on the bridge? And when I look at that, I go, no, but there are power lines that run across that bridge and to power the electrical system, the lighting on the bridge, et cetera. There are electrical conduits, and if they broke, then you would see sparks fly, it seems to me. All right, let's go. Well, now people are getting interested in this. Brent in Spring Hill, you're up with Brian on the drive. What do you say, Brent?
Hey, Brian, I agree with you completely. I mean, if they were going to pull off some cyber attack, there would be something bigger than this. I remember the boat that caught in the Suez Canal for, what was it, like 6 weeks or something, sideways. Right. Yeah, and this stuff happens. So I completely agree with you as an accident, but I do have one bone to pick with you.
All right.
Everybody's calling it a black swan event.
Yeah.
Black swan doesn't mean conspiracy.
That's right.
It means an accidental event that takes everything down.
Right.
So, yeah. So that's the only thing I wanted to...
And so, and then if that is the accurate definition, then that might be accurate to say it was a black swan event. Not intentional, but something that does have a tremendous economic impact. All right, thank you for that. Listen, we got some phone lines still open and a couple people standing by. Got to take a commercial break. More of your calls in just a moment. It is now 22 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. If you're in the market for a pole barn, the two brothers that run Stoltzko are two guys that you probably should talk to. Exceptional quality, craftsmanship, fair prices. They can build you a new pole barn to your specifications with your needs in mind, and that is the Stoltzko difference. You can use pole barns for all kinds of things. It can function as a classic tool and work barn, a garage, or even a place to live. Flexibility is key. They combine the classic post-frame barn look with the reliability of modern materials and techniques to give you a finished barn that will stand the test of time. They don't scrimp on quality. They don't cut corners. They believe their customers deserve only the best. So here, do me a favor. Go to their website, stoltzco.com, STOLTZCO.com, and tell them that your friend and radio buddy, wanted you to look at it and take a look at it. And then you're going to want to call them at this number, 615-622-5992. Stoltzko, where quality workmanship and great customer service is affordable. Learn more at stoltzco.com. That's stoltzco.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
President Biden may not be able to keep a promise to the people of Maryland and Baltimore. Crime here in Tennessee and some new details about the Sean Diddy Combs investigation. 3:30 Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
27 minutes now past the hour. We're talking about the bridge thing in Baltimore, and why are there so many theories out there? And, look, it seems to me to be an accident, but I'm open to other ideas. And I just wonder why it is that everybody assumes that, it is something other than an accident, or what leads them to believe that. Let's go with Vicky from Murfreesboro. Vicky, you're on with Brian on the drive. What's your take on all this, Vicky?
Well, I have two quick comments.
Okay.
I don't have much take on it because it's too early. But this Bankman guy, I think he should be sentenced more than this because he ruined too many lives. And the prison they're sending him to is too nice for him. He should be in regular prison.
Vicky, I always like to stay on one topic, so I'm gonna move on.
Okay, back to the bridge.
Very quick. Then what's your point?
The bridge. Okay, I think it could be something could have happened with the ship, or somebody could have planted something on the ship by the electricity flickering like it did, and they had such a short time to warn the other people that were coming onto the bridge. They said it was only like a 3-minute time before the whole thing started just falling in the water.
Yeah, it was they had 90 seconds to warn people and to get the traffic shut down, which is amazing. So that this thing was unfolding. When you look at the video, it is sped up. Most of the time that you see, it's been sped up, just because it's sort of boring to watch something move very slow, and they want to sort of show you the whole thing in a very short clip. So they speed the video up in many of these cases. It was a much longer event, I think, than you might get from looking initially at the video. Bobby in Gallatin, you have a take on this, Bobby? What's your thought?
Yes, sir. How are you today?
I'm fine. What do you think?
I watched it. I only saw it one time when it first happened, and it was. They said it had a motor failure, but the motor. I seen the black smoke from the first time it come into view, coming out from the diesel, and I could see the side of the ship, and then it started turning directly towards the piling. And the smoke was still rolling when it hit the piles. The motor was still running. I don't think it's an accident.
You think it was intentional?
I sure do.
All right. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Todd in Hendersonville, you're up next on the drive. What do you think, Todd?
Hey, here's my thought. I haven't heard anybody say this from all the calls that have been called in.
Okay.
I think that it's got a lot to do with people pouring across our border. Somebody has had some kind of a theory to break us down, and I think it was intentional. And the reason I say this, the Francis Scott Key wrote the Star Spangled Banner, which is one of our staple songs of this country, and I truly think somebody's trying to say...
You say a political message buried in it, and what in your mind is an attack?
Yes, sir. I definitely think so.
All right. Well, listen, you're going to get a lot. I'll tell you one thing that I do have confidence in. I really do. I honestly, there is a lot of distrust of government, and I think that's where a lot of this comes. You don't feel like you're getting the straight answer out of government many, many times, and for many cases you would be right. But in this particular case, there's an independent agency. It's not a governmental agency. It's independent of the government, and it's called the National Transportation Safety Board. And I've worked with some of those people over the years as a reporter. I know some of them, and I'm telling you, they will get the answer. There will be a definitive answer. It may take them a while, but they'll get the answer. And as I think with the passage of time, most people will find that answer sufficient. All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Good conversation. I'm interested in this. I do understand why there's such distrust. I do understand why people, have questions and they look at things askance. I get that. But sometimes, in my opinion, an accident is just an accident. That. Occam's razor. The simplest answer is often the correct one. 31 past the hour now of 3 o'clock, time for the news.
3:31. I'm Mac Maury with your top stories. Currently 64 degrees. A nice afternoon here in Music City. Weather forecast and a traffic report on the way in 5 minutes. President Biden's promise to reimburse the state of Maryland for every dollar it takes to rebuild the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge may hit a snag in Congress. Here's Jay O'Brien.
In a White House press briefing Wednesday, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg acknowledged the feds would likely need more money from Congress to pay for the cost of rebuilding the Key Bridge in Baltimore. At least one Republican, Congressman Dan Muser of Pennsylvania, told Fox News the president's quick promise to pay for a new bridge was, quote, kind of outrageous. Secretary Buttigieg with this response to lawmakers.
Today this is happening in Baltimore. Tomorrow it could be your district, and we really need to stand together.
Here in Tennessee, crime. A decommissioned Metro Police Sergeant Donald Barnes is facing aggravated assault charges after driving into an I-40 construction zone and putting workers in fear. The 53-year-old, 26-year police veteran was off duty driving his personal car when he traveled into a closed area despite traffic cones and barrels. According to police, Barnes and one of the other workers engaged in a verbal argument before Barnes reportedly lunged his vehicle forward twice, making contact with one of the workers each time. And some new details in a $30 million sexual misconduct lawsuit filed against Sean Diddy Combs. In an updated court documents, former Combs associate Rodney Little Rod Jones accuses the rap mogul and other defendants of sexual assault. Jones filing new allegations in his lawsuit the same day federal agents raided Combs' properties in Miami and Los Angeles. One of those friends listed in the new documents is actor Cuba Gooding Jr. Brian Buckmeyer says Gooding Jr. now faces the threat of a criminal probe.
If Cuba Gooding Jr. is found liable for these claims, just like an investigation seems to be ongoing for Sean Combs, a civil lawsuit could also launch a criminal case against Cuba Gooding Jr.
And that is the latest news, traffic, and weather on the way. I'm Mac Maury, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
"38 minutes now past the hour at 3 o'clock on Super Talk. I'm Brian Wilson, your friend and radio buddy. How you doing out there on Thursday, 28th day of March? We're about to wrap up this month. Hey, you know what we haven't done, Chris? I meant to ask you about this.
What's that?
Well, Sunday's Easter, right?
I know where you're going.
We haven't played the hippity, hippity, hoppity, hippity, hoppity, hippity, hoppity song, which is a fan favorite, you'll have to say, and it is infectious.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I may have just thrown that in the trash. I don't. I'm sure I've got it.
All right, you need to find it before the show is over today. Now, we've only got a couple more days to play it. Today and tomorrow is the only day we can play it. You found it, didn't you?
No, I haven't found it yet.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll move on.
I'm looking.
All right, you look. Listen, the thing I know about Chris is he squirrels stuff away. He's got it. It's there. I want to talk about the border situation. Boy, I'm telling you, there are a lot of developments here, believe it or not. And it's not just more people coming across the border. There are also developments that have a real impact on how we look at this in this country. Thousands of migrants set to arrive in a massive El Paso-bound caravan in just a few days. You know what happens is, surprisingly, during the winter months, that usually the flow of migrants will slow down because it's hard to travel across those areas when the weather is colder. But now that it's spring, it's especially warmer down there than it is here. You now have people moving across the border again in much larger numbers because they don't have to worry about the cooler weather. A new 2,000-person migrant caravan making its way to the U.S. border, expected to reach El Paso, and the state of Texas is, I don't know, preparing for the worst in this. I'm turning the page here because there's a little piece of information. Texas National Guard has deployed 2 planes carrying 200 members of the Tactical Border Force to El Paso, according to TV station KTSM. The group specializes in incidents of civil disobedience. A spokesperson for the Texas National Guard told the station And this comes, of course, just days after a group of migrants stormed the border in El Paso, tearing down concertina wire and trampling over National Guardsmen in the way. Texas authorities have charged 9 migrants involved in that breach last Thursday. The charges include riot, damage of property, over 2,500, assault on members of the Guard, a state government source told the New York Post. Texas officials also expected to hit dozens of others with felony or misdemeanor charges as a result of that. But I have a feeling, knowing what I know about the good people of Texas, the governor of Texas and the National Guard of Texas, that they ain't going to let anybody push them around a second time. I sort of feel like there will be a very strong response if indeed that happens. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and House Republican impeachment managers have informed Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer in a letter Thursday that they will send 2 impeachment charges against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas to the Senate on April 10th. House Republicans are accusing Mayorkas of high crimes and misdemeanors, including willful and systemic refusal to comply with the law and his breach of the public trust, this according to thehill.com. This means the long-awaited charges will arrive in the upper chamber on the Wednesday after senators return from the 2-week Easter recess. The move will force the Senate to take up the matter, at least formally, and then Schumer will have to decide whether to hold a full trial on the Senate floor, vote to dismiss the charges immediately, or refer it to a special evidentiary committee. Here we go. Mark Green is involved in this. We urge you to schedule a trial of the matter expeditiously, Johnson wrote in the letter, signed by House Homeland Security Committee Chairman Mark Green and House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCall. The evidence of both charges is clear, comprehensive, and compelling. And the House's solemn act to impeach the first sitting cabinet official in American history demands timely action by the Senate. It requires a vote of 2/3 of the Senate to convict Mayorkas and remove him from office. If he cares about the Constitution and ending the devastation caused by Biden's border catastrophe, Senator Schumer will quickly schedule a full public trial and hear the arguments put forth by our impeachment managers, Johnson said in a statement after releasing the letter. The House voted narrowly, 214 to 213, on the 2 charges a week after an earlier vote on the House floor failed. House Republicans joined Democrats voting against approving the charges. 3 Republicans joined Democrats. Ken Buck, he's out. Mike Gallagher, he's out. Tom McClintock, he's out. Schumer has refused to say how he will handle this. I do believe that, we're probably not going to have an impeachment trial of Joe Biden. That's the way it looks right now. They don't seem to think that would be the proper way to go. That's not to say there aren't things that need to be continued to be investigated, and that something might be revealed later. But as it stands right now, the general sense is, and the sort of the unofficial word coming from Washington is, they're not going to try to impeach the president. But Mayorkas, I mean, how many times have we heard this man lie to the American people? How many times has he told us the border is secure, even while he's promulgating policies of the Biden administration that have made the border anything but secure? From the Washington Times, new estimate says U.S. now has 13.7 million illegal immigrants. I'm going to repeat that number. Let's let that sort of soak in for a moment. A new estimate now says that U.S. has 13.7 million illegal immigrants. That's up 37% under Biden. Here we go. President Biden's wave of new illegal immigrants, according to the Washington Times, is upending the usual demographics of immigration and sending the education levels plummeting, according to a new report that raised big questions about the country's ability to absorb the newcomers. There are now 13.7 million illegal immigrants in the U.S. and 51.4 million overall. So 13.7 million illegal immigrants, 51.4 million immigrants overall, an increase of 6.4 million in 3 years since Mr. Biden took office, according to the Center for Immigration Studies. That averages, this is just astonishing, 172,000 new immigrants each month, or roughly 4 times the rate in the Trump years and nearly 3 times the rate of the Obama years. Most of the new arrivals are from Latin America. 3.7 million of the new arrivals came illegally. 3.7 million of the net arrivals came illegally. Some 44% have no education beyond high school, and significant numbers didn't even complete high school. Man, 13.7 million illegal immigrants in the country. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, well, this could. Have you seen the videos of this migrant influencer? This is a migrant who gets on TikTok. He's Venezuelan, and he gets on TikTok, and he keeps talking about all the things that he's scamming the Americans for, the money that he has, and all of that. And one of the things is that he's encouraging illegals to come to the United States and then take up squatting in somebody else's house. He's urging migrants to squat in U.S. homes now on the run from immigration authority. He's on the run, though. Lionel Moreno has claimed that his family, which includes his wife and young daughters, received $350 a week in government handouts since entering the U.S. illegally. Now, you tell that to a poor migrant coming to this country. If you come to America and they see this on their phone, they see this guy on their phone saying, I'm getting $350 a week. On top of that, he claims to be making $1,000 a day as a TikTok influencer. But there's some indication that TikTok may have taken down that particular account. Moreno allegedly cut off his ankle monitor after receiving Border Patrol, and Border Patrol parole, is now listed as an absconder from immigration authorities. ICE did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Moreno repeatedly received Border Patrol parole in April of 2022 as part of the government's Alternatives to Detention program, which is supposed to track and catch released migrants when there's not enough room to detain them. We can't detain you because you've overwhelmed us at the border, so we're going to let you go. Here's an ankle monitor, and we cut it off right away. Telling people who are coming to this country, look, not only if you come to this country will you be in a situation where you can be handed $350 a month. Was it $350 a month, or was that a week? I think it was a week. Yeah. $350 a week. That's good. That's good money for doing nothing, coming across the border, and especially if you come from nothing. And by the way, don't worry about where you're going to live, because you can just find some house that's empty and you can take up residence in it and squat in it. That's the squatter thing. I just don't understand how in America we can allow that to happen. But a lot of states are taking action. The issue of squatting has arisen in both Florida and Georgia. And I understand that the state of Florida has passed a law that says you cannot squat in a property that is empty. We're putting an end to squatters' scam in Florida, said Ron DeSantis. While other states are siding with the squatters, we are protecting property owners and punishing criminals looking to game the system. The measure imposes stiff punishments for squatters and for individuals who encourage the practice. Maybe the state of Florida needs to fire this Moreno guy. 50 minutes now, past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk. The Brass Lantern and Legends restaurants, man, I'm telling you, the whole idea there is to get some good food at a really reasonable price, celebrating 35 years now in Middle Tennessee. And because of that, Johnny Fleeman, the owner of both these restaurants, wants us to share with you their daily specials. Now, on Monday, you can get chicken fingers, fresh breaded chicken fingers with fries and coleslaw, $8.99. Tuesday featuring slow-cooked 8-ounce prime rib and a side for $18.99. Wednesday is the 6-ounce choice sirloin with a side for only $8.99. Thursday is hamburger steak dinner for $8.99. And Sundays, 3 pasta dinners for $9.99. Remember, for over 35 years, the Brass Lantern and Legends restaurants have given you authentic, made-from-scratch, delicious recipes at affordable prices. Hope you enjoy the good food and service, and don't forget their daily lunch specials, which start at $6.99. Don't miss that. Good food, reasonable price. You're going to love your next visit to the Brass Lantern or Legends restaurant nearest you.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation.
The impact of the Baltimore Bridge collapse. 2 bodies discovered in the Tennessee River yesterday, now identified. A legal battle underway over a $500,000 home that was built on the wrong land. And it's opening day in the MLB, 4 o'clock, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is now 57 minutes now past the hour. Listen, let's look at the markets. Dow Jones Industrial up 47, S&P up 5, NASDAQ down 20. Mixed boards today, but it is that time of year. We've just wrapped up the first quarter of the year. First quarter of the year. Let's check in with John Maxon over at Beacon Capital Management to see what kind of things we can draw from that first quarter numbers. John?
Hey, good afternoon, Brian. Yeah, flat day in the market, really, but certainly not a flat quarter. S&P, for example, is up a little over 10%. That's the best first quarter since 2019. And the 3 major indexes, they've been up 5 months in a row. The market also today got some additional good news. Last quarter's GDP was revised up from 3.2 to 3.4, and jobless claims were lower than expected. But I'll tell you, all eyes tomorrow are going to be on the inflation report. The PCE index is the Fed's favorite inflation gauge. And it's interesting because, of course, the market will be closed for Good Friday. So if it's a good report, the momentum could keep going on Monday. If it's negative, we could see some volatility, but an important inflation report tomorrow.
All right. Thank you much, John. And learn more about all the things they can do for you to get ready for retirement over at Beacon Capital Management. Just go to their website, askbeaconnow.com. It is 59 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk. All right. So this is Thursday, the 28th. Tomorrow is the 29th, and Saturday is the 30th. And that means you have that many days to take advantage of the big, huge spring savings sale over at DT McCall and Sons. What do you need for your house right now? You got an appliance that's on the fritz, about to give out on you? You've been thinking about replacing it? Now is the time to take action. Get your good prices. You need furniture. They got it. You need something for your bedroom suite. Yeah, they got that too. Do you need a mower? Because I'm telling you, they got some good deals on mowers. Time to take advantage of. Listen, the thing about a DT McCall is if you've never been to one, you've got to go by. 5 convenient locations: Carthage, Lafayette, Lebanon, Cookeville, Franklin. Go in, take a look around, and find out what they can do for you. Well, whatever it is you need, I'm telling you, there's a pretty darn good chance you can find it at DT McCall's. They've been around for more than 100 years in Middle Tennessee, and they have a reputation for treating people right. 5 convenient locations: Carthage, Lafayette, Lebanon, Cookeville, and Franklin. Learn more at dtmccalls.com.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation.
.401, I'm Mac Maury with your top stories. Currently 64 degrees and a gorgeous day in Music City. Got a complete weather forecast along with a traffic report in 5 minutes. Starting with the Baltimore Bridge, supply chain experts say that the collapse will only have a small impact on companies, but it could raise the price of one energy source. Andy Field has the outlook from Washington.
While ships can move to other East Coast ports, there's one major commodity that could be stuck in Baltimore for a while.
The Port of Baltimore is one of the largest coal export facilities in the country. They're both presumably closed for the time being.
University of Maryland Smith Business School professor Phil Evers says trains carrying that coal will have to wait or do a costly reroute to another shipping location.
Right now in Tennessee, the bodies found in the Tennessee River yesterday, now identified. 31-year-old Michael Ryan Tucker and his child, 4-year-old Michael Allen Tucker. Officials say the father and child were fishing when they fell into the water. The child's body was found just before 7 a.m. at a gravel site off the river near Highway 412, while the man was found at around 12:30 p.m. An illegal battle underway over a $500,000 home that was built on the wrong land. Mark Remillard.
Ann Reynolds bought a 1-acre plot of land in Hawaii in 2018. The lot sat vacant as she lived in California. Well, last year she got a call from a real estate broker telling her he sold the house on her property, according to Hawaii News Now. The issue is she never built anything on the land. It turns out a local developer was building about a dozen homes nearby, and the builder put one of them on Reynolds' lot. Now the developer has sued her, the builder, and others. She's countersued and rejected the developer's offer to take a nearby lot of equal size.
Now back here in Tennessee right now, News 2 reports that a new coffee shop in Nashville will be hiring the homeless. Paradisos Coffee Company has been working on this mission for several years through a nonprofit, People Loving Nashville. The unhoused help the shop with packaging, roasting, and shipping their coffee for different vendors and their online store. Paradisos Coffee Company set to open in April on West End Avenue. And in sports, only weather kept every Major League Baseball team from playing on opening day today. Here's Brian Clark.
The 162-game Major League Baseball season fires up with games across the country today. There are new faces in new places, like two-time Most Valuable Player Shohei Ohtani, now with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Juan Soto, one of the game's best hitters, has joined the New York Yankees. There's also a new owner in Baltimore for the upstart Orioles, where billionaire investor David Rubenstein led a group that paid $1.7 billion to buy the Birds.
And that is the latest news, traffic, and weather on the way. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a Guaranteed Offer and start packing.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hour number 2 of The Drive now kicking off, 4:08 on Super Talk 99.7. It's the end of the first quarter. It's almost the end of the month. And we have we're headed into Easter weekend. High holy days of Easter. That's right. An incredible weekend on tap. We got great weather both for Saturday and Sunday. I think Saturday's going to be the prettier day with regard to sunshine. Sunday it's going to be, I think, cloudy, but it's going to be a little warmer.
Yeah, it'll be nice both days.
Either way, a perfect time to go out and hunt Easter eggs.
Yep.
Did you find it?
I don't want to offer everyone out there my apologies for this because you're going to be stuck with it. So
yeah, it sticks in your head.
Blame Brian. So here you go. Ah, boy.
Yeah. Love it. Do-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. But it's really, the bridge that makes it. It's the hip hopping, hip hopping.
That's what plays over and over and over in your head all day long.
It gets into your head.
Yeah.
Here we go. Da-da-da. You ready, Mac? Everybody together now. Hip hop.
Hip hop.
Hey. Everybody.
Hip hop.
All right. Here we go. Okay.
Not that it does any good because I'm still singing it right now. It's still
I
playing.
know,
For sure.
it's in your head. I know. Well, okay, we'll move on. But it would not be Easter if we didn't play that a couple of times.
That's one of the instances where if you were watching on Super Talk TV, you should be grateful because you didn't hear that.
Oh, that's right. You can't hear it on Super Talk TV.
Yeah. So just count yourself lucky.
We can't play music on the stream. No. We're not allowed.
So instead, you just get to see Brian dance to nothing. It's great.
Put him with his ear rabbits.
Exactly. Yeah.
What the hell is this guy doing? He has lost it.
Well, I have lost it. That happened a long time ago. All right, let's move on. I'm going to take everybody to the Brian Wilson Election Academy today, and I'm going to teach you some things. So this is going to, sometimes I say we're going to do a deep dive. This is going to be a deep dive. And one of the things that, you hear me say, well, this poll shows so-and-so Trump in the lead here. Trump doing in the battleground states, blah, blah, blah. But you hear all those numbers and it just turns into a blur. I'm going to teach you how to find out really what's going on behind the scenes by doing a little deep dive into one particular poll. And again, this is not going to be a lot of numbers. There will be some numbers, but I think what you're going to find out is that a lot of the issues that are important to Americans right now are issues in which Trump prevails and Biden does not do well, which is a really encouraging thing for our side. So let me talk to you about a little thing called the internals of a poll. Now, when you see a story that's written, it says it's usually some, glossy number. Trump leads, Biden does this, and it's a number. But that's just that just scratches the surface on the kind of information, the real data that are in these polls. If you do the internal, so if you want to follow along, you can go to realclearpolitics.com. And look at the latest Fox poll, click on the thing that says Fox News, and you will get a copy of the entire poll, not just some number, but a deep dive into all of the questions that they asked. In fact, there's some things that I can't even report out of this poll because Fox has put an embargo on it, but you can read them. They're there for everybody to look at. No secret. So let me just tell you, first of all, one of the things you want to look at is what kind of poll is it? All right, here at the Brian Wilson Academy, we like registered voters. And then on top of that, it could be likely voters. Likely voters probably better, means that they've identified voters who are likely to vote but definitely you don't want general population polls because, you really want the people who are likely to vote or who are registered to vote. And in this particular poll, they say the margin of error is plus or minus 3%. So there you go. That's one of the things you want to note because you could be outside the margin. So I'm going to start here by going through some of the things that are in the internals of the poll. Number one, the question asked, do you approve or disapprove of the job that Joe Biden is doing as president? The numbers have been pretty consistent for a long time now. Around 58, 59% disapprove in polls. See, they do this. I mean, I've got numbers going all the way back to, I don't know. Let's see. In this particular poll, it goes all the way back to April of 21. And they do this poll every so often. And right now, it really, in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 polls, it's been about 58%, which means that people have sort of made up their mind about Joe Biden. Do you approve or disapprove? 58% disapprove. And that's somewhat and strongly put together, comes to 58%. Now, how do you approve or disapprove of the way that Joe Biden is handling the following issues? Number one issue that they look at is the economy. This is a huge number for conservatives because it says that right now in America, 61% of Americans disapprove of the job that Joe Biden is doing with the economy. I mean, I'm telling you, that's not good. 38% approve. Well, that's basically dyed-in-the-wool Democrats and a few more. That's largely people who are saying, well, I'm a Democrat, so I got to say the right thing here. But when you see a number that says 61% of Americans disapprove of Joe Biden's handling of that issue, it is really, it ought to be concerning to Democrats. And you look at that and you go, wow, that's good for us. Okay, what about the issue of inflation? 65% of Americans say they disapprove of how Joe Biden has handled the issue of inflation. That number has been, been going down a little bit, and because there are some people who look at the economy and their markets are doing well, et cetera. So, but it's going down, but it's still long way to go. 34% approve, 65% disapprove of how he has handled the issue of inflation. The next one, immigration. Do you approve or disapprove? 67, 2/3 of all Americans disapprove of how Joe Biden has handled the issue of immigration. 67% disapprove, 30% approve. And then, again, there's a bunch of numbers you might want to go through, but I'm going to skip over to another part of the poll. This is like question 18. I mean, there's just so much good data here. What is the biggest failure of the Biden administration? I was, surprised to see that number one. Well, I guess not, because we've seen some polls that suggest this. The number one issue, when they give them a whole list of things, they say the number one biggest failure of the Biden administration is the issue of immigration. 31% said that was the problem. 17% said it was inflation. And then there's this one. You ready? Everything. There are just too many to list. There are too many failures to list is 15% of those who took the poll. Wow. That's really something. Thinking back on the Trump administration, what do you think was the biggest accomplishment of the Trump administration? The number one thing, the top of the list, is the economy. Donald Trump gets, in the minds of many Americans, that's the thing that he is best known for, that he had the economy under control. And number two is immigration. They like his position. That was an accomplishment of him. And then there we go. Let's see. There are 27% of people, however, who fall into this category. There's nothing. So you know who that is, right? 27%. Pretty easy to figure what that number relates to. What was the biggest failure of the Trump administration? And this is one where, I raise this issue from time to time. I have voted for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump every time I get the chance. He is my choice, and I don't want you to think that I'm bad-mouthing him here, but this shows up in the polls as the one thing that they don't like about Donald Trump. His big mouth. Divisiveness. But still, at that, it's only about 23%. So again, there are those, if they have a problem with Donald Trump, it's not about the economy, it's not about immigration, it's not about inflation, it's his mouth that sometimes people have problems with. How would you rate economic conditions today? This is very important, because, how are you doing? That's the old question. Are you doing better now than you were 3 years ago, 4 years ago? On a scale of excellent, good, only fair, or poor, how would you rate economic conditions today? 43% of Americans said poor. Only 4% said it was excellent. 43% said poor, 4% said excellent, 22% said good, 30% said only fair. So if you add that number, that's what, 73% say it's only fair or poor? That's not good. That's not a good number for the Biden administration. All right. So, again, let me just see if there's anything else here. A lot of information. Oh, yeah. Are you better off or worse off financially than you were 4 years ago? This number has been consistent for quite a long time. 52% of Americans say they are worse off. Only 22% of Americans say they are better off. Which do you think is to blame for high prices these days? Too much government spending or corporate price gouging? I'm very surprised by this number. Too much government spending, 44%. Corporate price gouging, 45%. That's why you hear that number right there. Corporate price gouging. That's why you hear Joe Biden talking about how, corporations are greedy, That's the one bright point they have in any poll is that many Americans feel that corporations are greedy and they're trying to feed that particular number. Which one is the most important issue? And this is the reason I think this is interesting is how far down the list abortion becomes, because Democrats are going to try to make abortion the issue. If you say, what are the most important issues, please tell me how important it is in deciding your vote. The economy, extremely important, 61%. Election integrity, that feeds well on our side, 53%. Immigration, 48% say it is extremely important to them. Healthcare, 46%, abortion, 41%, foreign policy, 38%, climate change, 30%. Here's what I'm going to tell you is, of those issues that are important to Americans, this is what you need to draw from that. 1, 2, 3. The top 3 issues are issues in which Donald Trump does well and Joe Biden does not do well. The economy, election integrity, and immigration. So these numbers are really quite amazing. And what is also good about looking at sort of doing the deep dive of stuff like this is that you can really see how the numbers has changed over time. And I think with regard to Biden and with Trump, people are locked in. They pretty much know who these individuals are and have made their decision. Finally, the last question that I'll spend on this in this deep dive, this look at internals. Do you think Joe Biden has the mental soundness to serve effectively as president or not? 61% of Americans said they do not think he has the mental soundness to serve effectively as president. When you look at all of the internal data and then you apply it to the big number on top, sure tells you a lot, doesn't it? Tells you where the American people are. And if I were a Democrat, I would be terrified. 22 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock. Have you noticed how unreliable things have become these days? Like when someone tells you, hey, that thing you want will be ready at 4 o'clock, and then you get there at 4 o'clock and it's not quite ready. People are really tired of that stuff. If you've had it with unreliable vehicle repair shops, come to Eurofix. Eurofix turns unreliable into reliable, and Eurofix has your vehicle ready when it's supposed to be ready, so you're not wasting your time, tapping your toe, waiting impatiently. Eurofix repairs all European cars with quality that beats the dealer without dealer pricing. That's because dealer repair shops are designed to pay virtually all of a dealership's overhead, and that's a lot of money. So why would you want to pay for that? At Eurofix, reliable means a 3-year nationwide warranty plus a free loaner car with every repair appointment. But make sure you call ahead, as loaner cars are very popular. If you're tired of unreliable repair shops, come to where it is reliable. Eurofix, family-owned for 24 years. Call 844-EUROFIX or visit myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
A resolution vetoed by Russia. We'll tell you what it is, plus our Money News report, all at 4:30. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
27 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Couple of other election stories that are interesting. I'm just watching my monitor here, Fox News up in the corner, and they were showing a picture directly, catty corner from the mothership of Fox News in Midtown Manhattan is the Radio City Music Hall, where long leggy girls do the high kicks. That's the
Rockettes.
The Rockettes, yes.
Long leggy girls.
Well, I mean, that's what they are. They're doing an event there with Obama, Clinton, and Biden. An evening with three presidents. How weak must he be that he has to be propped up by Bill Clinton and Barack Obama? So anyway, that's happening, and there's a lot of talk about him getting the support of Obama. And there's a story here. Obama reportedly has given grave concerns that Biden will lose to Trump, feels the need to intervene. Daily Caller. Former President Barack Obama has grave concern that President Joe Biden will lose to former President Donald Trump in November, which has caused him to get involved, the New York Times has reported. With just over 7 months until the presidential election, Biden has been making regular calls to Obama in an effort to discuss the race. According to the New York Times, Obama, though, is reportedly making calls of his own to Biden's chief of staff, Jeff Zients, and other top aides to discuss strategy. Former president's involvement reportedly comes from a place of fear that his former vice president will lose his reelection bid in 2024, an aide told the White House. Obama has always been worried about Biden's reelection chances, an aide told the New York Times. I love it, we sort of eavesdrop on what the Democrats are saying among themselves. The White House, remember for a while, I heard them do this. I said, why in the world are you still using that term? The White House would get out there and talk about Bidenomics, and they would not walk away from the term Bidenomics because, most people look at that term Bidenomics and it has a negative connotation. Bidenomics haven't been very good for me. But he kept, it's about the ego of the man. It's about the ego of Joe Biden. He was absolutely, in his mind, convinced that Bidenomics were working, that it was going to be a great thing, and if we just keep saying the word long enough, the numbers will catch up with it, and when we will turn the negative into a positive. Hasn't happened, as we just revealed to you in that deep dive of the polls. Now comes word from the Daily Caller. The White House and Democrats have abandoned the use of the term Bidenomics. 30 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock.
Minutes after the hour of 4 o'clock, I'm Mac Maury with your top stories. Currently 64 degrees in Nashville. Forecast and a traffic report just ahead in 5 minutes. For years, the UN has extended sanctions to watch and report on North Korea's nuclear program. Today, Russia vetoed that resolution. Here's Andy Field on what that might mean.
The U.S. says Vladimir Putin's thumbs down on extending UN-supervised North Korean sanctions will make it easier for that country to keep developing nuclear weapons.
Moscow has undermined the prospect of a peaceful, diplomatic resolution.
U.S. Ambassador Robert Wood. Russia's incentive for not hurting North Korea may come after the U.S. claims that Kim Jong-un's government helped resupply Russia with missiles for its war on Ukraine.
Now over to some money news. Here's Michelle Franzen.
Not only are the indexes closing out another winning month, the S&P is headed for the best first quarter since 2019. Both the S&P and NASDAQ are up around 10% so far this year. The Dow added 47 points. The NASDAQ shed 20. The S&P added 6 points. This is the last day of trading for both the U.S. stock and bond markets this month and quarter. Financial markets are closed for Good Friday. The government says the U.S. economy grew at a 3.4% annual pace from October through December, an improvement from the previous estimate. Disgraced crypto mogul Sam Bankman-Fried has been sentenced to 25 years in prison for committing fraud on hundreds of thousands of FTX customers. Home Depot is buying materials supplier SRS Distribution in a deal valued over $18 billion. Grocery chain Kroger is closing 3 of its e-commerce fulfillment facilities in Texas and Florida, which work with a British online retailer.
And that is the latest news, traffic, and weather on the way. I'm Mac Maury, WTN News.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Let me tell you about the folks over at Grace Point Healthcare. It is the standard for affordable, comprehensive, and convenient medicine. How? Well, as a direct pay provider, your health care is delivered without red tape of an insurer's guidelines. Don't you just hate it when they get involved in your decisions about your health care? Smart Care plans make it even more affordable. Starting at $69 a month, you get free office visits and free basic labs for the entire year. And GracePoint identifies and treats the root cause of conditions, not just the symptoms, using a comprehensive, functional approach. And by usually seeing you the same or the next day, you will be treated at your convenience. Another great advantage. GracePoint Healthcare is affordable, comprehensive, and convenient medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. They are located on Main Street in Franklin, 615-599-6868. Again, that's 599-6868.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation.
It's a hip hopping. It's a hip hopping. I like it. It's in my head. I can't get it out.
I told you.
I know. 37 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. I just was thinking about people watching on Super Talk TV and how, they don't get to hear the music because we're not allowed to play music on our streaming products. So, I mean, one thing I want to say about that is to get the full drive experience. There's this little thing called radio. It's really where you get the best product.
Radio.
Terrestrial radio.
Frequency modulation?
That's right. Frequency what is the frequency, Kenneth? And so that's where you get the full effect of what we imagine when we produce the show.
Yeah. But the downside of that is then you do have to imagine Brian Wilson dancing with bunny ears instead of actually seeing him.
I had my bunny ears up, and I was dancing along to the music, and people watching on Super Talk TV are going, "Has he lost his ever-loving mind?" And the answer to that is long ago.
Yeah.
Long ago. Hey, one more. Can I just throw in one more? Because I just can't get enough. I can't get it all in. There's so much of it. One more campaign 2024 story, and it's not insignificant. It's not the most important story of the day, but interesting. Chris Christie has decided that he will not run on the no labels presidential ticket. Now that in itself is probably a blessing to Americans everywhere. Chris Christie would have zero chance, of course, running on the no labels presidential ticket. In fact, I'm not sure anybody, but it's going to be interesting. We thought, well, somebody interesting who might pull a number, maybe it would impact the other major players in the race in a way that would be, positive for our side. But he's not. He said, no, I'm going to make sure. He says, I'm going to make sure that in no way do I enable Donald Trump to ever be president of the United States. And that's more important than my own personal ambition. Okay. Well, he's a big guy, big heart.
He's really excited about the McDonald's Krispy Kreme merger.
Oh, I bet he is. I bet he's very excited about that. And so that's out. But here's what I think is more interesting about that is some of the people who have been mentioned. The number of people who have turned down the No Labels Party is pretty interesting. Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat of West Virginia. Senator Kyrsten Sinema, Independent of Arizona. They've all ruled out. Then there was this Republican governor, sort of a Republican governor, Larry Hogan of Maryland. I know Larry Hogan a little, and he decided to run for the Senate, and by the way, probably will win. Wouldn't it be something if we had a Republican senator, well, sort of a Republican senator from the state of Maryland? He's not going to vote hard conservative right, but, it helps control the body. Are you a Republican? Yes. Okay, we put you in the R column. We control the body. I think actually, to be honest with you, I have a pretty strong feeling. I'll narrow my thoughts about it as we get closer, but I think Republicans are going to take the Senate. I'm just worried about the House now. I'm not sure they can. Also, Georgia Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan turned down the group. He said, for me, the math just got too difficult. Now, where are we with no labels? The organization said in a call with supporters earlier this month that it would make a final decision about moving forward with a presidential ticket by early April. It claims to have ballot access in more than a dozen states. So is there going to be somebody who jumps on that? Will they go forward? Their inclination was to go forward, but you got to have a candidate. And, who would that candidate be? I don't know. The only thing that would be interesting if it was somebody from way outside the realm of politics. Somebody who just had a tremendous amount of name ID. That would be an interesting thing for a lot of people there are a great number of people who don't want to vote for either candidate, and they're out there. But that would draw a number. One way or the other, right now they don't have one, and they just lost one of their major, sort of organizers was Joe Lieberman, who died yesterday at the age of 82. Senator Joe Lieberman was involved in the No Labels organization, and so they may be in a little bit of disarray as a result of that. One way or the other, I know we say thank you. A grateful nation says thank you, Chris Christie, for not getting into the race. Boy, what a guy. Chris Christie, goodness. You're going to love this. This will make you really mad. Kamala Harris, boy, she just continues to amaze. The White House is touting work from Vice President Kamala Harris to combat economic insecurity by creating hundreds of thousands of high-quality jobs. That's from their perspective the good news. The bad news from our perspective is those jobs are in northern Central America. Way to go, Kamala. In a fact sheet released Monday by the White House, they provided an update on Harris's effort to address, quote unquote, the root causes of illegal immigration. I'll tell you what the root cause is that, people in South America and Central America and Mexico, they're finding out that you come to America, that you're going to get a credit card that pays you $350 a week. and you could squat in houses and just take them over. But anyway, that's not what they said. They said, we're trying to address the root causes, and they're creating opportunity. Noting that the U.S., this is a quote, they actually put this out. U.S. government support for as many as 23,000 private sector firms in northern Central America has helped create and sustain up to an estimated 250,000 jobs. Way to go, Kamala! Doing all you can for the good people of Central America. Would that you could do that for Americans. We find 250,000 jobs in America. That'd be something, wouldn't it? that our tax dollars are going to create jobs in Central America while we have unemployment in this country. Harris's focus, according to the Free Beacon, on Central American jobs comes amid rising unemployment in the United States. The unemployment rate spiked in a 2-year high in February, and in Washington, unemployment is at its highest level since the COVID-19 pandemic. President Joe Biden responded to those rates by calling the American economy the envy of the world. And remember, this is your border czar at work. And what did Biden say when he appointed her the border czar? When she speaks for me. So congratulations, Kamala, for creating 250,000 jobs in Central America. Oh, my. We talk from time to time about electric vehicles and how, that we're just not ready for them. And the car companies actually sort of started pushing back on some of the EV nonsense that was out there, saying, I'm sorry, Biden administration, I know you want everybody to drive an electric car, but we just can't sell the darn things, the car company said. We just can't make them, we can't give them away. And so, the market has spoken, the people have spoken with their wallets. They're saying, look, we're just not interested in electric cars. We want good old-fashioned gasoline cars. We're not ready for an EV. There may be a time and a place where you are ready for an EV, but most people believe we're not there yet. Number one, the cars still have some things to overcome, like distance and how they don't perform in cold weather or very hot weather, or a whole other different category, and that we don't have a grid that can support the charging of electric vehicles in America at that rate. Are we upgrading the grid? I haven't seen any new power plants going up lately. No, I don't think we are. Are we, and what about the pipelines, the power lines? Basically a pipeline for electricity. Are they up to carrying the heavier load of people charging, every American charging their car overnight in the garage? But there's this still, and this could have an impact on it. California, Rhode Island, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, and Washington, and the ever-important District of Columbia, now on board with plans to ban the sale of gas-powered vehicles within the next decade. That's right, in California, huge car market. Rhode Island, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, and Washington, and the District of Columbia, Washington State and the District of Columbia, they are on board to end the sale of gas-powered vehicles within the next decade. Now, that's a lot of cars. And what we have seen in the past is that the car makers, they have a problem. We're told you can't sell a gas-powered car in these states. We don't allow them here. Well, and then they got to look at, it's expensive to build two different kinds of cars, gas-powered, electric cars. We can do one, we can do the other. And then, so, is it an attempt to push the car makers into making these decisions? I guarantee you, if within 10 years we are doing this, and there are states, and believe me, there'll be more blue states that join this list, we are going to be in a world of hurt. The plan to phase out the vehicles and switch to electric and hybrid vehicles comes as the Biden administration continues to pursue its lofty climate goals in a struggling economy. The administration, for example, wants half of all new cars and trucks sold in 2030 to be zero emission, despite sputtering EV sales. So all 8 of those states and D.C. have adopted the Advanced Clean Cars 2 rule and will have an outright ban on the sale of gas-powered vehicles after 2035. California, the first to adopt the rule, aiming to have 35% of new vehicles electric or hybrid by 2026. That's just like, this is 2024, a couple of years. Boosting that goal to 68% by 2030. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a disaster. I just don't understand how in the world anybody with any intellect and a brain cell working can look at the situation and say, we're not upgrading the power capacity of this country. We're not upgrading the grid, and yet we're going to force this idea on all Americans, and so that you're going to be required to charge your car at night, putting an incredibly heavy demand. You just don't understand when everybody has to charge their car, the level of demand that will be in that case, all of the demand that will be necessary. We just don't have the capacity to do it. We simply don't. Even if you wanted to do it, we're not doing the right things to make that possible. And so it's not feasible. You may want an electric car and you may want a hybrid, and that's all good and fine. But for many Americans, I have a feeling that the good old-fashioned gasoline-powered car, the good old V8, is not dead just yet. 50 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. The chairman of the Federal Reserve has said that we're on an unsustainable fiscal path. I mean, they're not going to be able to pay off the $34 trillion debt anytime soon. So what will they do? They'll just print money to pay the interest on the debt, and that will debase the U.S. dollar. Maybe it's time to think about saving with something that has value, gold or other precious metals. Listen, maybe you've thought about adding gold or other precious metals to your portfolio, but you feel like you don't have the knowledge you need to make a smart decision. I'll be honest with you, that's the way I felt. But I got the professional guidance I needed at Nashville Gold and Coin. You see, gold and silver can be a safe haven in uncertain economic times. And my friends at Nashville Gold and Coin are standing by to answer all of your questions about the precious metals market. And maybe if you have some old coins laying around gathering dust, set up your appointment and bring them along. You might be surprised to find out how much they're worth. To set up that one-on-one appointment, just go to NashvilleGoldandCoin.com. That's NashvilleGoldandCoin.com. That one-on-one appointment, you're going to walk away having a great deal of knowledge, and I think you're going to feel pretty good about your investment at Nashville Gold and Coin. Find out more at NashvilleGoldandCoin.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Five o'clock, I'm Mac Morey with your top stories. Currently 64 degrees in Nashville. Traffic, a complete weather forecast, 5 minutes. Starting in the Israel-Hamas war, fighting continues in Gaza between Israeli Defense Forces and Hamas militants, despite the adoption of a UN ceasefire resolution this week. Britt Clinette is in Tel Aviv, Israel, with more.
Heavy fighting still taking place at Al-Shifa, which is Gaza's main hospital, by the way, before the war. Israel says it's still operating around the site after storming it more than a week ago. Now, the IDF claims to have killed about 200 gunmen there, and this all comes despite the fact that the IDF claimed in January that it had completed dismantling Hamas's command structure in northern Gaza.
Road rage in Tennessee. Metro Police investigating a possible road rage shooting in South Nashville. It was reported at about 9 a.m. at Murfreesboro Pike and Harding Place. A man was shot in the head, but is talking alert. He's expected to survive. Officials are trying to figure out what led up to the shooting. No suspect description available currently. And several U.S. presidents, past and present, visit New York City on the same day. Derek Dennis.
President Biden and former presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton in New York City for a Biden fundraiser. Streets are closed as the presidents descend on Radio City Music Hall for a ticketed evening event. On Long Island, former President Trump attending the wake for murdered NYPD officer Jonathan Diller, killed in what should have been a routine traffic stop. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, a Democrat, also on hand, focusing on public safety, not politics.
We are truly impacted by the loss. We're going to continue to provide the safety to the city.
Crime in Tennessee. A decommissioned Metro Police Sergeant Donald Barnes is facing aggravated assault charges after driving into an I-40 construction zone. The 53-year-old, 26-year-old police veteran was off duty, driving his personal SUV. He then traveled into a closed area despite traffic cones and barrels. According to Metro Police, Barnes and one of the workers engaged in a verbal argument before Barnes reportedly lunged his vehicle forward twice, making contact with one of the workers both times. And amid recent concerns regarding his health, Pope Francis looking well as he kicks off his busy Easter schedule. Ines de la Catera with more.
Pope Francis appearing to be in better shape on Thursday as he washed and kissed the feet of 12 women prisoners, a traditional ritual held on the first of 4 jam-packed days leading up to Easter. Francis also began the day by celebrating the Mass of the Chrism, and on Wednesday we saw him reading out pre-prepared remarks for his weekly audience in full. This comes after the 87-year-old skipped the Palm Sunday homily over the weekend, raising new concerns about his health.
And that is the latest news. Traffic and weather on the way. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation.
It is 6 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Hello, everybody. I'm Brian Wilson, your friend and radio buddy on this last day of the first quarter, March 28th. It is abundant sunshine, 63 degrees here in Bucolic, Watertown. Very similar temperatures there in Nashville, downtown. And we're headed into a beautiful holiday weekend. I mean, Good Friday tomorrow. And then Saturday, it's supposed to be like abundant sunshine, temperatures in the mid-70s, and then warmer even, though it's sunshine, we got some clouds on Sunday, Easter Sunday. The temperatures, I think, going to be way up there in the mid to upper 70s.
Did you say Easter?
Yep. That's right, Easter. There you go. You've set the tone for the entire hour. Now, here, for the folks in the radio.
What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Those are my bunny ears. I know, hip hopping. It's a hip. We found this song back when I was doing the mornings.
Yep.
And we played it, and probably too much. But it really does sort of put you in the happy Easter bunny mood. I mean, how can you not? But it's the little hippity hoppity thing that this part right here. Yeah, this part.
Ah, yes.
All right, here we go. I'm going to save you from the rest of that.
Too late.
It's in your head, isn't it?
By the way, for everybody that's wondering who the fine artist is that performs that,
I'm dying to know.
The group is called the Hip Waiters.
The Hip Waiters.
The Hip Waiters.
Yep. Okay.
There you go. So look it up at your own discretion.
That's right. It's going to be a smash hit before we get done with it. I've got some oddball stories here I just want to sort of spend some time talking about. There are days when the news doesn't allow this, but I'll be honest with you, it's a sort of slow news day. Not a lot going on in the world that we haven't already talked about. So in this hour, I'm just going to talk about some unusual thing. Now, Chris, I can't believe that Mac is not in the newsroom. I want him to hear this story.
I think the song ran him off.
Yeah, I know. He can do that. Well, maybe he'll come back. I actually, when I saw this story, I said, wait, this is the 28th of March. This is not April 1st. This is not April Fool's Day. I have a feeling we're being punked, but I'll read the story anyway, and you let me know what you think. 7-Eleven, or as we used to say in Texas, 7-Eleven, planning to sell, and I'm not making this up, hot dog flavored sparkling water. Oh, I know. Oh. The retailer has teamed up with beverage brand Miracle Seltzer to create a lineup of sparkling waters in 4 different flavors. You ready? Lemon lime. I don't know about you, but lemon lime. I
can get with that.
Yeah. Green apple. That sounds good. Sweet orange. And hot dog. Oh. That's right. 7-Eleven says the hot dog flavor is a twist on one of the most beloved snacks, the Big Bite hot dog. There's no man. I stand behind no man in my appreciation of a good hot dog. Yeah. But I don't eat 7-Eleven hot dogs.
Yeah, wouldn't be my first choice.
According to an official news release, the Big Bite hot dog sparkling water is a liquefied version of the iconic snack. Ketchup and mustard flavors included.
Oh, no.
They say, however, now this makes me wonder if we're getting punked here. The Big Bite hot dog sparkling water might be difficult to get your hands on. 7-Eleven said more details on the availability of this flavor will be revealed next month. We're just a couple of days away from next month. And next month, and what is it? What is it, Monday?
It is Monday, yeah.
Monday is April Fool's Day?
Yep.
I have a feeling this is what this is all about.
Boy, I hope so.
In the meantime, you can try the other 3 fruity flavors. Did we tell you what they were? They are lemon lime, green apple, and now new and improved hot dog.
No. Oh, you forgot sweet orange.
Oh, sweet orange. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sweet orange.
There's even on 7-Eleven's corporate website, they even have a photo of a close-up photo of someone holding the can, and the can looks like a hot dog, like the paint job on the can. It looks like hot dog meat. Oh,
that's disgusting.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's really terrible.
Please be an April Fool's joke. It's got to be.
It's
right?
got to be. I mean, I think we're being punked.
But there would be some weirdo out there that might want to drink that.
I will pay Matt Murphy.
Oh, now you've done it.
$10 to drink.
Oh, he's in
the hot dog sparkling water.
I guarantee you, he would do it.
He would do it for $10. He'd do it.
He'd probably do it just because you dared him to.
I think you're right. Well, consider the challenge made. I'm not drinking it. I'll tell you that for sure.
No.
I don't think we can. I don't think we're going to be able to get our hands on it.
The question is, would it be better if it was cold, or would you just drink it room temperature?
I don't know. I can't imagine drinking it at all. But one way. Ugh. Now, speaking of 7-Eleven, Chick-fil-A, and Walmart, 3 great American brands, you would agree, rolling out new technology that aims to deliver items to customers in a matter of minutes. The 3 mega brands will be the first companies to launch a new drone delivery service with the startup Drone Up, it's called. Drone Up. Now, this is the guy, Tom Walker's the CEO of Drone Up. He calls it an autonomous drone ecosystem that will revolutionize what they call last-mile logistics. And on all delivery services, whether it's FedEx or UPS or Amazon or whatever, the most complex part of that, they always say, is the last mile. From the factory to your house, which may be more than a mile, actually, but that's what they call it. The last mile is the most expensive thing because you got to put trucks on the road. You got to have people, and it's expensive to get things delivered the last mile. Not that expensive, relatively speaking, to move large items in bulk, planes moving around, that kind of stuff. That's not too difficult. But when you have to actually deliver it, then it becomes expensive. So all of these companies are trying to find some way to save money on the last mile. And some people have said drones could be the answer to a lot of it. I mean, not everything can be delivered by drones. I mean, I think it's going to be around 10 pounds. But there's a lot of things they deliver to my doorstep that are 10 pounds.
Yeah, I would think the majority of things for most people, yeah.
System differs from existing drone deliveries because it includes a climate-controlled locker where drones pick up the packages. It's called the DBX. The DBX is said to be smaller than a single parking space, allowing smaller companies to use the new technology. It can serve as a delivery hub on college campuses and in cities, giving more people to access to drone delivery. When making deliveries, the drones automatically know where they are going in the sky and have the power to avoid aircraft along the way. They travel 60 miles an hour within a 30-mile range.
Wow.
Yeah, and pick up packages using a claw-like grabber that can carry up to 10 pounds safely. So it says, how does it work? Okay, well, I've been, sadly, as I look at this drone, it does not seem prepared.
For pizza?
For pizza.
I knew you were thinking that.
I want my drone pizza. The first step in the drone delivery is a customer placing an order online. The retail or restaurant staff will box up the customer's order and attach a specific barcode to the package. Once the box is scanned into the system, the employee will place it in the locker where it is weighed and shelved for pickup. The locker is climate controlled, meaning the items are kept at the right temperature. And when the item is ready, a drone is dispatched to the landing pad on top of the big DBX box. The drone lands on top of the locker. It sends the thing to the top. The drone hooks onto the thing and is loaded onto the drone. And the company says the drones are remotely piloted for speed and efficiency as the item heads to its drop-off location. The entire process is shown. They can make 50 deliveries an hour. Order goes from store to customer in a matter of minutes. See? Now, I could see a lot of companies, especially fast food companies, eventually doing this. I mean, maybe not pizza because it's an unusual size box.
It has to be kept flat.
But you could you could probably get a good calzone delivered.
Ooh, that might be good.
Yeah. The customer then grabs the box from the drop-off point, which could be your front step or your back deck or some other convenient location. Preferably one where the French Bulldog will not get it.
Yeah.
Walker believes that combining flying robots with ground-based automation will allow retailers to lower the cost of delivery. We put in a DBX, all that labor cost comes out. So overnight, my delivery goes to about $10, a $10 delivery charge. And now here's the thing. Not everything that you need in 2 minutes. But there are some things that you need them when you need them, right? And if you need it when you need it, are you willing to pay $10 for the convenience of having delivered in like 10 minutes? Wouldn't that be something? To go to your computer and say, I got to have this thing. I need it right now. And the fulfillment center puts it in the DBX box. The drone comes, flies to your house, drops it off on your front porch. And 10 minutes.
I could see this like when you're in the middle of preparing like a big meal and you forgot to buy an ingredient at the store.
Yeah.
And you just can't leave because you got stuff cooking. You could just tappity tap 10 minutes.
Well, right now when that happens, I am the drone.
Yeah.
Honey,
same.
You got to go get me this. Right. Well, I mean, but that's okay. I don't mind doing it because generally at the end of the day, I'm getting something pretty delicious served to me.
That's true. Yeah.
But anyway, they say that this will eventually be the way that things are delivered and that Joe's Tailor Shop can have access to the same price that Walmart. Because any company can put one of these DBX boxes in their parking lot and have a process for having their product delivered by drone.
Interesting. Wow.
It's working right now in Virginia Beach and Dallas, and plans to expand other markets in late 2024. I think that'd be very cool.
Theft is the only thing that I worry about.
Well, but it goes in the box, except on your front porch. But if you're waiting on it, you're going to be right there at the front door. Of course, you're going to sit out in your front yard and watch for the drone to come.
What's to keep someone from just hanging around these boxes, though, and wait for the packages?
Because it lands on top of the box, you can't get it.
I guess it would be taller than...
It's taller than a human being, and
yeah,
it's got protective... you can look at the story, but it's got protective sort of arms around it, both to protect you from getting in there, making it impossible to climb in, and also to protect you in case the drone goes crazy.
Yeah. Got it. All
right. So anyway, will I get my pizza anytime soon? No, but I mean, I honestly do believe that we're going to have drone delivery of certain things at a reasonable cost in our lifetime. I think it's going to happen. And Walmart, Chick-fil-A, can you imagine Chick-fil-A being delivered to your house in 10 minutes?
Now that I could get on board.
The nearest Chick-fil-A to my house is 12 miles. I know this because it's in Lebanon, and I have to drive to get Chick-fil-A 12 miles.
You've timed it, haven't you?
I've timed it. I know exactly how far it is, 12 miles and maybe a little change. But can you imagine saying, hey, I love me some Chick-fil-A. Go to your phone, tap, 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 and then 10 minutes later, the 12 nuggets and those amazing waffle fries would land on your front doorstep.
Yep, I would do that.
I'd be all over it, even if it cost me $10 and I didn't have to get up and drive 12 miles. I'd pay it.
Yep,
I would pay it. It's 20 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock on Super Talk. Are you happy with where your weight is? I got to tell you, I was beginning to become concerned about mine again. You see, I lost a lot of weight last year, and then, I started to feel better, and the weight started to come back, and I decided I've got to do something about it. And though I have never taken on a weight loss client before, I want you to know how impressed I am with the program that Jamie and Carly over at Restoration Wellness Med Spa in Lebanon developed for me. You see, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. They took a look at my history, my lifestyle, suggested an approach that is really starting to show some real results. And here's the amazing thing. I'm not hungry, which is huge for me. I don't like being hungry. Beyond that, Cabana Wife and I are undergoing peptide therapy at Restoration Wellness Med Spa and are thrilled with the results. We've both noticed greater mental clarity and increased energy. So whether your goal is to lose weight or just to improve your health overall, they've got a panoply of things they can help you with. Restoration Wellness Spa has the solution for you. Maybe it's time for you to join more than 1,000 patients who have already seen life-changing results. Here's the number, 615-470-8124. By the way, really lovely people. Learn more at restorationwellnessmedspa.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
The family of Riley Strain ordering a second autopsy be done. Immigration news, and Sam Bankman-Fried has been sentenced. All at 5:30 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 25 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Did I miss something?
I think you did.
I think you did. I think it's an award-winning segment.
Oh,
how could you forget?
I mean, come on.
Can I tell you what I was doing?
Yes.
You were thinking about drone pizza delivery?
I was ordering Eclipse glasses.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, you got to have those.
That's fair.
Yeah. Well, let's do this instead.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport. thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
It's time for Mac Morey's wild world of sports. And now, without further ado, because I took up so much time being a bonehead, here is Mac Morey, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, there we are. It's happening.
Sorry.
No, I love it. It was great.
Yeah, nothing like getting diverted. Listen, we're glad that you're here because, we got a lot of stuff. This is, I guess in the world of sports, believe it or not, this is like a big month. So much going on, right?
So much going on, and just like Brian tried to throw us a curveball at the beginning of this segment, we are now seeing curveballs back again. Opening day in the MLB started today. Thank you. That was a professional radio segue.
I can't believe that you did that. That was a really good segue.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So only four teams, two games were unable to happen today due to weather. The Braves were one of those. So no Braves today for the MLB, but every other team facing off right now. We don't have any. We have one or two final scores. The Orioles, who have new ownership, beat the Angels 11-3, and you got the Tigers beating the Sox 1-0, and then all those other games are in progress right now. You've got a few games later on tonight. Red Sox, Mariners, Rockies, Diamondbacks, got the Cubs and the Rangers, a couple other games as well. But the Orioles, I mean, that's of note because they do have new ownership. Their first game, their first opening day as owners, big win, 11-3. It's kind of been a poverty franchise, to lack of a better word, these past few years.
It's been a struggle, yeah.
It has been a struggle, and there's videos of them out with a bunch of fans, and the owner stands up, and he basically announces that he's the owner. He's super excited. Everyone starts cheering, and then he says, hey, next beer, everyone on me. And buys a beer for the whole bar. So that's a good start, right? You got to think the fans are like, wow, I like this guy. This guy's awesome, right?
Right.
So that's baseball opening day. We'll keep up with that, and we'll keep you guys updated on the Shohei Ohtani investigation that we discussed yesterday.
Right.
Now, transitioning over to the ice, NHL playoffs just a few weeks away. Early to mid-April is when that'll begin. 16 teams make it, 8 from each conference. And the Predators are sitting firmly in that wild card spot right now. 90 points in that first wild card spot. The Vegas Golden Knights behind them with 86 points. Those remaining teams, you got the Blues with 80 points, the Minnesota Wild with 77 points, and then you go down to the Flames with 71. I mean, the Preds have a 10-point lead on the teams that are out, the Blues. I mean, the Knights, they got a 4-point lead, so they're strongly, firmly in this wild card spot. And if anything, they're kind of trying to step up into the top 3 in the Central Division.
Wow, that'd be great.
Which would be awesome. Exactly. Maybe get some home ice advantage here. 4 points behind the Winnipeg Jets, and there is still time to make a comeback there. I believe they play the Arizona Coyotes tonight. I don't know. I'll have to double check if that is at Bridgestone or not.
They're playing their best hockey of the year at the right time, too, as you close out the regular season.
You always want to finish strong, and that's the way it always works out, it seems, for the winning teams.
Yeah, they've won 6 games in a row, and I don't know. Last time I checked, it was like an 18-game point streak. I mean, they are just on fire right now. And again, this was, a few months ago, I'm talking about the trade deadline. Are the Preds going to be sellers or buyers? What are they going to do? They're kind of in this, limbo mode, and all of a sudden they decided to be buyers, and they are on a streak. And like you guys said, they're one of the hottest teams in hockey. This is a sport where it's not just the 1 seeds and 2 seeds making the finals. The Stanley Cups are, it is upset city. So let's get ready. Get that Catfish song ready, Brian, because we're a few weeks away, man.
I pulled it out and dusted it off. It's ready.
Let's go.
Because if we get to the playoffs, it is a tradition. We'd started on the morning show.
Yep.
Play the Catfish song. Throw that catfish down, son.
Yes, I love it.
That's right. Well, that's great. So good stuff. Sorry that I threw you a curveball. But then you took that curveball and turned it into a home run.
Boom.
Yep. That's what you did. All right. I'll tell you why I was looking for eclipse glasses in a little bit. It's now 30 minutes past the hour of 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7.
.5:30, I'm Mac Morey with your top story. 64 degrees on Music Row. Latest traffic report and a weather forecast in 5 minutes. This just in Tennessee. Channel 4 reports that the family of Riley Strain has ordered a second autopsy be done. Strain was without jeans or boots or his wallet when he was found. The family is having a second independent autopsy be done to learn more. Metro Police say that 22-year-old's death appears to be accidental. Immigration advocates say the 6 construction workers presumably killed in the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore were providing a vital contribution to the community. The men were performing road repairs when a container ship hit the bridge head on and brought it down. 2 bodies were recovered from the Patapsco River yesterday. Ike Ajaji in Baltimore.
Police are identifying those victims. The first one is 35-year-old Alejandro Hernandez Fuentes. He's a native of Mexico who lived in Baltimore. And that second individual was 26-year-old Dorlian Roniel Castillo Cabrera of Dundalk, Maryland. Originally from Guatemala, he was also working with the crew. And the other 4 construction workers are, in fact, presumed dead, vital members of the Dundalk and the greater Baltimore community.
Sam Bankman-Fried has been sentenced to 25 years in federal prison for defrauding customers and investors of over $8 billion in his failed crypto exchange, FTX. Before announcing the sentence, Judge Lewis Kaplan said there was a risk that this man will be in position to do something very bad in the future, and she said it's not a trivial risk. Kaplan agreed with prosecutors' claim that Bankman-Fried wanted to be a hugely political, influential person in this country, and that this propelled his financial crimes. That is the latest news, weather, traffic next. I'm Mac Maury, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Well, imagine what you could do and how you would feel if you or your loved ones had no pain. Well, Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley over at the Wellness Institute of Nashville want to help you find that pain-free life. I mean, that would be great, wouldn't it? Because getting better and feeling healthy is important to Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley. They're freezing costs at 2023 levels. That's right, half off spinal decompression treatment, half off the KT knee machine. New patients can get a full consultation for just $23. Now, what do you get for that? Well, you get an exam. You get a consultation. X-rays are included if needed. You can also bring in an MRI report if you have one. Dr. Mitchell will go over them. He's pretty good about finding things that other people have missed. You definitely want to take advantage of that. And then he'll put together a game plan, explain what it is he's going to do, and then get you started on the pathway to feeling better. So call Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley to set up your consultation today at 615-246-5009. I'm Brian Wilson, and I put my stamp of approval on the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Learn more at painisbad.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation.
It's 38 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock on this 28th day of March. A lot of sunshine out there still as we wrap up the day, get you home safely. And now I have to explain why it was. I wasn't goofing off. I was doing research. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. No, I mean, as you know, I'm very interested in the upcoming eclipse on April 8th, and it has occurred to me that I have given what I think is probably not great advice, and I need to clean this up, because I've told you that we're not in Nashville going to be in totality, but we're going to be a fairly significant event here in Nashville. But to get into the totality, which means where it goes completely dark, and you're in that cone of totality, that 115-mile wide path where it goes completely out, then you're going to have to travel to the north and west. And I've told you I'm going to be in Henderson, Kentucky that day. Paducah, good place to go. Henderson, the reason I'm going to Henderson is that did you know Henderson is the home of John James Audubon?
Who?
Audubon. Audubon's birds. Audubon.
Oh, I did not know that.
That's right. Apparently it is. And so they have like an Audubon Center there on the Ohio River, and they're going to have an event there. It's going to be a nice place to put up your little chair and watch. But here's the thing I got to clean up with everyone listening within the sound of my voice. Please pay attention to this, because it's several days away, and there's still time for you to fix this. You can't look at the eclipse, especially if you're in Nashville. Now, you have to have some special glasses, plastic glasses with a certain kind of lens, and that's what I was doing. I was looking up, can you get those glasses there? Listen, sort of like, remember you go to a 3D movie?
Yep.
And they put on glasses, and one is red and one is blue. Well, they're like that, but they're not red and blue. They have very, very dark and a special kind of filter on them that allows you to look up directly, and you'll be able to see things perfectly. But you can't look at it otherwise, because you can really find yourself in a real serious position of damaging your eye, and you won't even know you've damaged your eye for a day or so, and you feel no pain. So I'm just saying to you that if this is something that you want to look at, and in Nashville, we're going to have not totality, but probably 85, 90%, somewhere around there. It's going to be a significant event, and you want to look up at it. You definitely got to have these glasses. So the reason I was doing that research is that apparently you can go to Amazon or a lot of other places, and they'll deliver them to you tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, and you put them over, if you wear sunglasses, you put them over your sunglasses. You wear corrective lenses, you put them over that. And then you can safely look at the solar eclipse. And please, I beg you, don't look at the sun without the proper eye protection.
Yeah.
Okay? That just honestly, you need to be really careful about that.
I think I still have my my eclipse glasses from the last time.
From 2017?
I think I do, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have them then, but I didn't look up until it was absolutely in totality. But even then I shouldn't have done it. And so I drove all the way up from Florida to experience that. And this is the last one we're going to have for 20 years in America. So did you know that a lot of schools are closing for the eclipse? Schools across the country have already given students the day of the eclipse as a day off, a half day, or a chance for e-learning. And some Tennessee schools have already decided to follow suit. Now, this is a story that I squirreled away about 2 or 3 days ago. Much of the state will see anywhere from near totality to about 95% totality. The partial solar eclipse will start around 12:44 p.m. and end at 3:20. Maximum coverage at about 2:03 p.m. Central Time, most of which is during dismissal time for students across the states. So in East Tennessee, actually, they will dismiss early on April 8th. Bristol schools, Carter, Greene, Hawkins County schools, Johnson, Knox County, Kingsport, Oak Ridge, they're going to close for the eclipse. Now, I think that that's probably so that the schools are not responsible if a kid goes out and looks up at the sky and burns out their retinas. Let's see. Others are keeping their regular days. Middle Tennessee, Metro Nashville Public School plans to provide instructional materials and lesson plans for schools for the April 8th eclipse. Rutherford County schools will be closed on that day, and I don't know why that is, if it's for the eclipse or if it's just part of their spring break thing. I'm just not sure. I don't know. The western part of Tennessee will be the closest part of the state to totality, but as of March 26th, which is when this story was written, no school schedules for districts in that part of the state have information on if students will have early dismissal or even the day off for the celestial event. And I told you before, and I want to mention this, that this one is going to be a better eclipse. I mean, these things, there are grades of eclipse. Sometimes they're better than others. For one thing, the path of totality is wider. And it has to do with the perigee, the apogee and the perigee of the moon as it circles the earth. It's not perfectly circular. Sometimes the moon is closer to the earth. And that will be the case during this eclipse. As the moon passes before the sun, the path will be wider because at that particular moment, the moon is closer to the earth than it would be at another time. And much, much closer than it was, for example, in 2017. Let's see, a wider populated path of totality. More people are going to be in the path of totality. It stretches all the way from Canada to Mexico, cuts a swath from about the Great Lakes down across through Kentucky, Indiana, and then goes down into Texas and then into Mexico. And at the some places will get more totality than others. Some places will get like, I don't know. Let's see, it says back in 2017, the longest period of totality was experienced near Carbondale, Illinois. That was 2 minutes and 42 seconds. In April, the eclipse will last up to 4 minutes and 28 seconds in an area in northwestern Mexico. I understand you're going to get about 4 minutes and change in Dallas, is what I'm told. Wow. I think where I'm going, it's probably going to be about 2.5 minutes. And also, this is the other thing that you need to know is that when you're in totality and when you get those special glasses that you're going to get, right? You're going to get these glasses. You're not going to go out there and just put on a pair of shades and look at the sun. Promise me you won't do that.
By the way, I've got word that you can get them at Publix, Lowe's, and Walmart. All has them. So I would imagine most major retailers sell them. So
well, you should take advantage of that. There's a thing called solar minimum and solar maximum. Solar minimum is when there's not a great deal of activity on the sun, sunspots, flares, that kind of stuff. Solar maximum, the sun is very active and it cycles all the time, right?
Sounds like a good hard rock band. Yeah. Solar maximum.
That's right. No. The name of the rock band is Coronal Mass Ejection.
Yes.
Coronal mass ejection tonight. But apparently when it's in maximum, like it will be, and you have the special glasses, you may be able to see streamers coming off the sun. And maybe even a coronal mass ejection, which is a large eruption of solar material during the eclipse.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. I thought I saw something like that in 2017.
That was just your retinas burning because you didn't have the glasses
on. Let's see. And again, this is a whole story from the Wall Street Journal about how you need to have the glasses. Even if just 1% of the sun's surface is visible, it is still 10,000 times brighter than a full moon. And viewing it without the right equipment is dangerous. You will find that you potentially could burn your retinas and have lifelong damage to your vision. It's just not worth it, Out of curiosity, look up for a moment and then live with that for the rest of your life. You just don't want to do it. You want to be very, very, very careful. And then there's this. The Federal Aviation Administration issued a warning for flying during the solar eclipse. The solar eclipse is expected to be a stunning display on April 8th, but could create issues for travelers in the sky. Airspace is expected to be busy between Texas and New England with the upcoming solar eclipse. Air traffic expected to increase in states where the eclipse's path of totality will hit. They have warned air travel from April 7th at 6 a.m. until April 10th at midnight could be impacted. Pilots in airports around the country, southwest and northeast, are advised to plan ahead and to check on temporary flight restrictions. FAA said coordinating departures as early as possible can help fixed base operators with staging aircraft and help ease ramp congestion at airports. Aircraft should be prepared for potential airborne holding, reroutes, and/or expect departure clearance times that may be issued for all domestic IFR arrivals. They'll be listed on the FAA's website. I mean, I think that would be cool. And there are apparently airlines have some special flights that they've set up where they will try to stay in the totality path as long as possible, flying right down that 115-mile wide corridor as it moves from north, east to southwest.
That would be interesting, but only if you could actually see what was going on out the window, right? I mean,
yeah. You got it'd be dark outside, but I would think that from like 35,000 feet, you could see in the distance the sun over there, but it's dark here. How weird would that be?
Wow, that is weird.
Yeah, it's very strange. Listen, I think it's fascinating, and these are rare celestial events, rare astronomical events. And I think they're fascinating. If you've ever been to one, and I know people in Nashville in 2017, they were in the path of totality. They remember it very well. You're not going to have the same experience. And again, I want to mention, get some glasses, get them at your local grocery store, get them down there at the stores that you mentioned. What were the stores that you mentioned? I want to.
Let's see, Publix, Lowe's, and Walmart were the ones that I have seen recommended, but I'm sure just about any of the major places would have them.
I would guess that's right. Yeah. So get them in advance. Now you've got to do it now because they're going to sell out as you get closer. So, if you want to do that, do it. And please use the special glasses. No, I mean you too. Yeah, all right. Oh, I used to have a minister who would always say this at the end of a particularly tough sermon. He would go, "A word to the wise should be sufficient." So I hope you're wise, and I hope that this word has been sufficient. 50 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock on Super Talk.
Hey, it's Dan Mandison. I love My Patriot Supply. It's emergency food so you can care for your family no matter what. And today, we're fixing creamy chicken flavored rice. And the thing I love about My Patriot Supply, it's easy. You just get the water, turn on the heat, and in minutes, we are ready to go. Now, this food lasts for 25 years in special packaging, and yes, it does taste great. And in just minutes, it's ready to eat. Patriots don't rely on the government to take care of their family in emergencies. It's up to you. Order right now and get $200 off a 3-month food kit. It's important to go to preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. That's preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. Preparewithmandis.com. $200 off a 3-month food kit.
6 o'clock, I'm Mac Maury with your top stories. Currently 63 degrees on Music Row. Traffic, weather forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Supply chain experts say the Baltimore Bridge collapse will only have a small impact on companies, but it could raise the price of one energy source. Andy Field.
While ships can move to other East Coast ports, there's one major commodity that could be stuck in Baltimore for a while.
The Port of Baltimore is one of the largest coal export facilities in the country. They're both presumably closed for the time being.
University of Maryland Smith Business School professor Phil Evers says trains carrying that coal will have to wait or do a costly reroute to another shipping location.
In Tennessee, this just in, Channel 4 reports that the family of Riley Strain has ordered a second autopsy be conducted. Strain was without jeans or boots or his wallet when he was found. The family's now having a second independent autopsy be done to learn more. Metro Police say the 22-year-old's death appears to be accidental. Israel-Hamas war fighting continues in Gaza between Israeli Defense Forces and Hamas militants, despite the adoption of a UN ceasefire resolution this week. Britt Clinette is in Tel Aviv with more.
Heavy fighting still taking place at Al-Shifa, which is Gaza's main hospital, by the way, before the war. Israel says it's still operating around the site after storming it more than a week ago. Now, the IDF claims to have killed about 200 gunmen there, and this all comes despite the fact that the IDF claimed in January that it had completed dismantling Hamas's command structure in northern Gaza.
Guns at Tennessee schools. A loaded handgun was found at Stewart County High School this afternoon. It was found in a purse in a staff bathroom. Students do not have regular access to the bathroom. No students were near the gun. On Facebook, the school staff said, quote, "The staff member has been removed from campus and the matter has been turned over to the Stewart County Sheriff's Office for investigation." And that is the latest news. Traffic and weather on the way. I'm Mac Maury, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandison. I love My Patriot Supply. It's emergency food so you can care for your family no matter what. And today, we're fixing creamy chicken flavored rice. And the thing I love about My Patriot Supply, it's easy. You just get the water, turn on the heat, and in minutes, we are ready to go. Now, this food lasts for 25 years in special packaging, and yes, it does taste great. And in just minutes, it's ready to eat. Patriots don't rely on the government to take care of their family in emergencies. It's up to you. Order right now and get $200 off a 3-month food kit. It's important to go to preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. That's preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. Preparewithmandis.com. $200 off a 3-month food kit.
Hey, good evening, everybody. It is the fourth and final hour of the drive on this Thursday, March 28th. I'm Brian Wilson, your friend and radio buddy, and we're so glad you're with us. Listen, let's get you home if you're not home already. Let's make sure that you get there safely, that there are no incidents, accidents, or complications on your drive home. And then we'll give you some news and information while you're doing all that. Got all kinds of stuff. Just bring up on some of the big stories of the day. The Port of Baltimore is apparently going to be closed, and this is the term that they're using right now, until further notice. They got the Corps of Engineers, Army Corps of Engineers. These people are remarkable. I mean, honestly, so smart. They come in, they really understand how to build things back quickly. And there's like 1,100 people from the Army Corps of Engineers crashing into Baltimore now, and they'll be assisting state and federal officials. And here's the major thing that you need to know about all that. Number one, that their top priority will be, after the recovery. And by the way, they found 2 more bodies today. But the top priority will be to get that harbor open. Now, understand for a moment that they say, how long will that take? They're not going to give you an estimate yet. They're just getting on the ground, too soon to know, they say. But when you think about what needs to happen economically in that particular thing, and to stop the economic blood loss of what's happening with a port that, loses, if every day it's closed, it's $15 million. Can you think, just imagine that. 15 million. 30 million, 45 million, just in a number of days. That's the economic loss, and it will go up from there. $15 million a day, $80 billion a year in revenue that comes through there. So if they get the port open, they clear the debris away from the opening harbor of the inner harbor, so that ships can then pass through. They can take their time about rebuilding the roadway. I mean, that'll be an inconvenience for the people in Baltimore. And by the way, it's a major thoroughfare that goes around Baltimore. One of the things that I forgot about is I told you the other day that there are many thoroughfares that go north along that I-95 corridor. 695 was developed in 1977, and they built the Francis Scott Key Bridge as a way to take hazardous cargo around Baltimore. You can't take it through the tunnels. So, that's a major thing and causes a big problem. So if they can get the port open, they can take their time to rebuild the bridge. That will take some time. And to completely fix the thing will take some time. But once they clear the debris out of the way, ships can go in and ships can come out. And so activity can return to the harbor, and that's going to be one of their top priorities to do that. Impact will likely increase from there as critical roadway has been severed, and of course that's a problem. In addition, hours after Baltimore's bridge collapsed, the scale of economic toll is beginning to emerge. It's not just the Port of Baltimore that's been compromised. It's also the railroads, the trucking industry, the regional distribution centers, commuters, other segments of the economy. Those factors will push daily losses into the tens of millions of dollars until the shipping lanes reopen. That's the thing. Get the shipping lanes open, and you can stem some of the problem here. It's the 11th largest port in America, but still a lot of jobs, 140,000 jobs. If they can get that thing back open, the sooner they can do that, the sooner it will be. The President of the United States misspoke, as he often does, in the early hours after this tragedy in Baltimore, saying the federal government will pay for the rebuilding of the bridge completely. We'll take care of it. There was a couple of people who said, excuse me, Mr. President, that's not technically correct. Secretary of Treasury said, well, hold it. There's going to be an insurance payment. It's going to be huge. We will recoup. Yes, you may have to put up the money initially, but you will recoup a lot of that money. Listen to this. The collapse of the major Baltimore bridge and its knockout on effects could result in the largest ever marine insurance payout. The chair of insurance giant Lloyd's of London said on Thursday, Lloyd's of London, you can get anything insured at Lloyd's of London if you've got the money. Analysts have forecast that insured losses would amount to a figure in the single-digit billions after a huge cargo ship crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge. A lot of business is going to be interrupted. Supply chains are going to be interrupted by ships that are trapped both inside the port and, of course, ships that were trying to gain access to the port that no longer can. And those second-order effects, that's an interesting term, and I love that. Second-order effects will take some time to work through. The initial thing, of course, is the port is closed. But how do you then resolve the problem? Let's say you got 15 or 20 ships sitting out in the Atlantic Ocean waiting to come up the Chesapeake Bay into the inner harbor. What are they going to do? They're going to sit there indefinitely? No, you can't do that. You got to find a way to take them someplace else. Insured losses could be between $2 and $4 billion, depending on the length of time the port is blocked. Such a figure would surpass the current highest amount, which was paid out from the capsizing of the Costa Concordia cruise ship in 2012. Various insurance policies are likely to be triggered across marine liability and hull, property cargo, and business interruption. Despite the hefty insured losses, we expect they will remain manageable for the insurance industry, as they will involve a large and diversified pool of well-capitalized insurers and reinsurers. So it won't break the insurance industry. They're going to be able to survive it as well. But one way or another, it's going to be quite a mess until they get that thing back open. And again, for the city of Baltimore, we will move on. We will not think about this after a while. But the city of Baltimore will have a long haul waiting on that bridge to rebuild. But you can still, while you're building the bridge, open the harbor, and that should stem the losses, the big losses. I would guess if I'm no engineer, but it seems like to me if the goal is get the garbage out of the harbor, remove the metal from the bridge, get that ship out of the way, I can't imagine that with big cranes coming in very any day, well, they're already there, that it would take more than a few weeks. One would think. Maybe there are complications I'm not aware of, but it seemed like you could do that. Why gasoline prices are rising faster than usual this year. Have you noticed that our gasoline prices are going up, and that has caused a lot of people to be concerned? I mean, we talked about this yesterday, how it has an impact on the elections. People all across the country and various battleground states are now noticing that, I used to put $20 worth of gas in my tank, and it got me to work and back home just fine, $20. Now it gets me about 3 days. Now I need to pay more. I need to pay more for a tank of gas. $20 a buck more, a tank more. Well, they typically rise in the first half of the year as more Americans get back on the road. And then there's this moment where refiners must transition to less polluting summer blends. But costs in 2024 have ramped up faster than normal, thanks to severe weather at home and geopolitical disruptions abroad. Unleaded gasoline ran at $3.54 a gallon on average across the U.S. on Wednesday, according to AAA, up 3% from a year ago, about 14% higher than the beginning of this year. So when they get the blending, the changeover to the different blends of gas taken care of, prices should come down somewhat. I read a story yesterday, and I set it aside. I don't have it anymore, but the crux of the story was, in America right now, we are producing more oil than we have ever produced at any time in the history of America. That's incredible. As somebody who comes from the oil-rich Permian Basin of Texas, where a lot of our oil and gas comes from, that's remarkable, because as I grew up in West Texas, I can't tell you the number of times fields played out. There's no oil here. We've got all the oil. Well, no, what you got was the easy oil, which was easy to pump up out of the ground. And when you went to that, then you had to go to the deeper oil, which the first thing they did was something called water flood. You would pump water down into the deep wells and force the oil up. Then you would separate the oil and water in a separation plant. And then came, the whole thing with fracturing. And then what they found after and again, there were various waves. Yeah, all the oil is gone. There's no more oil here. We need to think in the Permian Basin, we need to think about doing something else. And then they found this thing called shale oil. And there's more oil in shale than you could possibly imagine. And processing that with fracturing and other things has just revived the oil industry again. And they say that in West Texas, there is more shale oil, unyet tapped oil, than in all of Saudi Arabia. Pretty amazing. So we've got it. The problem is, of course, we have an administration that doesn't want the oil companies to go after it and doing everything they possibly can to keep us from developing our natural resources in this country, which is a national security problem. But I think probably gasoline prices will be coming down at least some. Inflation, not so much, but gasoline prices and that part of it, I think, if you can hang on for a little while longer, I think it will get better as we get through that blending season. We change that out. And I think we'll see lower prices at the pump ere long. So don't panic just yet. Let's see what else we got. I got all kinds of different stories that I've been trying to go through here. This one is, this has to do again with the bridge. Lawyers are gearing up for a legal fight. I bet, who always makes money in a disaster? It's the lawyers. And they're gonna be bringing lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. That's gonna be, and then there was this other story about Pete Buttigieg, who showed up at the event, right? He shows up at the event later that afternoon. Well, things happen, and Pete Buttigieg, the Secretary of Transportation, doesn't show up at all. Train wrecks, he doesn't show up. Now, in this particular case, it was a Democrat area. It was only about 35 minutes to drive from Washington to Baltimore to get there. So it's sort of hard for him not to show up. So he shows up, and Mayor Pete, as this story says, Mayor Pete, there was very little that he had to say about the bridge collapse. He had nothing to say whatsoever. This guy's an empty suit. He's vapid, not very smart, way in over his head. And you would think that after 3 years of Secretary of Transportation, you would learn a few things. You would learn, a little bit. I don't think he has any intellectual curiosity whatsoever. He used the tragedy as a way to promote the infrastructure bill. That's exactly what the people of Baltimore and America needed to hear. Well, because of our infrastructure bill, we care deeply about building good bridges. But he didn't. He was asked several questions, and literally, when you look at every single word that he said, you were not informed even the least bit by Pete Buttigieg's presence at that disaster. 20 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Listen, I'm telling you, if you have got an air conditioning system that's not getting it done as we head into the warmer season, you might want to call the folks over at Busy Bee. Get them over there, have them look at your system, get it up and running. Make sure before it really starts to get warm, you want to make sure that's all taken care of. They will buzz over to your house. I mean, I've called them on very short notice on many occasions, and what I find is they are always responsive to my concerns and my timelines. They work with you any way that they possibly can. That number is 775-7833. Now, the way you avoid having major problems is that you do preventative maintenance. Didn't your daddy tell you about doing preventative maintenance on your car? Same is true with air conditioning, HVAC, and plumbing. So listen, if you're a member of the Beehive Club, starts as $99. 3 thorough maintenance services on your systems, one aimed at heating, one aimed at cooling, one aimed at plumbing. No overtime charges, 24/7, 10% off all repairs. And by the way, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is your official Rude Pro partner. So for satisfaction guaranteed, call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling at 615-775-7833. And as always, you can learn more about the things they can do for you at busybhvac.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition.
Dan Madison, I love My Patriot Supply. It's emergency food so you can care for your family no matter what. And today, we're fixing creamy chicken flavored rice. And the thing I love about My Patriot Supply, it's easy. You just get the water, turn on the heat, and in minutes, we are ready to go. Now, this food lasts for 25 years in special packaging, and yes, it does taste great. And in just minutes, it's ready to eat. Patriots don't rely on the government to take care of their family in emergencies. It's up to you. Order right now and get $200 off a 3-month food kit. It's important to go to preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. That's preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. Preparewithmandis.com. $200 off a 3-month food kit.
You know, Nick Saban spent 17 years as the head coach of Alabama and is retired, and soon he'll be, I guess, doing that Sunday analysis game show, game day show. But in the meantime, can you imagine what it's like to be somebody that operated at a very high level for so many years, and all of a sudden, well, he's twiddling his thumbs sitting on the couch. He's retired. Saban officially retired on January 10th after winning 7 national championships, 6 of which came during his 17-year tenure with the Crimson Tide. But now the legendary head coach is learning to send out emails, pick up his own prescriptions, and even proper table etiquette.
Okay.
During an in-depth conversation with ESPN, Saban revealed that just one day after announcing his retirement, his wife, who's known as Miss Terry, gave him what she called the 10 Commandments of retirement. Oh, the missus laying down the law. I did it all those years. Now it's, I tell you what, there's a day coming for me like this. Without giving too much away, Saban said one of the most prominent things on the list, including waiting for his wife of 52 years to join him at the dinner table and leaving a little left on the plate to be polite, at least when dining out. So at our first dinner at home, he brought his plate to me with half a pickle on it. Getting Miss Terry a blanket when the couple sits down on the couch is a courtesy that she's done for Saban for years, is another requirement of her 10 Commandments for retirement. In other words, I brought you the little what is it, blanket, but now you have to bring me the blanket. He's actually texting. Apparently, he didn't do that before. Reading his own emails. Sent his first ever email. Can you imagine? He'd never sent an email. He even took a trip to the pharmacy to pick up his first prescription. He's very proud of himself.
Proud of himself.
Well, I guess, he just, you talk about why was he successful? Because he focused on one thing and one thing only, to the exclusion of everything else in his life, which was football.
That was it.
And now, Miss Terry apparently laying down the law to Nick Saban, saying, okay, that was good and fine. You had your nice run there at Alabama. Crimson Tide, woo. But you know what? Now you're mine, and you're gonna carry. I have a feeling someday down. You see, I'm a little older than Cabana Wife, and she's already started to think about this.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, she's been telling me about, when you retire someday, and I'm still working, I'm going to expect certain things. So, I don't know.
Keeps you young, Brian.
Yeah, right. When I retire, I've been pushing hard in the harness since I was about 15 years old. I mean, I have worked hard for a long time, and when I retire, I sort of think that I'm just going for the first 6 months. Just sit and look at the wall.
Yeah.
But that probably won't work.
Not in your house.
Not in my house. Well, I know she won't allow it. And the Bulldogs will keep me busy, I'm sure. But no, I don't know. But I mean, I think there comes a time in many relationships, this is not unusual, where there needs to be a readjustment and a reassignment of duties.
As much as you may not want it.
Let me just check your phone. Is your phone going off right now?
Not yet.
No, but it will.
You're in the clear.
Yeah, some people who don't know, Cabana Wife listens to this. I mean, she listens to the show most times. She may be cooking dinner right now, so she may not be actively listening. But when she listens and she has, let's say, she takes umbrage with something that I say, she texts both you and me.
Yep.
To sort of, let her know that's hogwash, is what she said. But the fact that she has not, she hasn't.
She must not be listening right now.
She's not listening right now, because otherwise I know she'd be all over this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. But, I think I just can't believe you can live in today and never have text, never have sent an email.
Yeah, the email is wild.
Never picked up your own prescription. I mean, I guess he had people to do all that.
Yeah. He was a busy man.
Yeah.
Had football games to win.
That's right. Do you leave anything on your plate? I never leave anything on my plate.
Not generally. I mean, if I leave something, it's usually because it ain't no good.
Yeah, I didn't like it. That's right. Well, I'll sample it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was required in polite company to leave a little on your plate.
I didn't either. I'd never heard that. Not in the way I grew up anyway.
Yeah. And me, it was like, are you going to clean that plate or what?
You going to finish that?
You going to finish that? If not, can I have some of that? It's 30 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock on Super Talk.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
You know, the folks at Beacon Capital Management have created a free retirement savings calculator to help you make informed decisions for retirement. It's fast, it's free. You'll get your answers in just a matter of seconds, and then you'll be able to then decide whether or not you're on the right path. Now, if you're like a lot of people, you're going to find out, well, I need to do some work here. I need to get ready for my retirement. And if that's the case, then you just want to pick up the phone and call them and get them to do a deep dive. 615-488-9303. Starts with that simple phone call. The experts at Beacon will take it from there. You literally have nothing to lose except for all the worry. Get started today by calling that number, 615-488-9303, and at the end of the process, you'll be able to rest easy knowing you have a plan that meets all your retirement goals. Replace the worry with confidence that you're on the right path. Again, that number, 615-488-9303. The experts at Beacon stand ready to take your stress away. Learn more at askbeaconnow.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
37 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Brian Wilson in the chair for a few more minutes as we wrap up the fourth hour. Then we'll go to the news, and then we'll go to Mark Levin, the great one. He'll have a lot of things to say. He carries on throughout the evening, and impressively so. Hey, you know what? I would have been surprised by this. When I came to Nashville in 2018, I rented an apartment right down here by the station. You remember I used to walk to work in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was sort of scary at 3 o'clock in the morning, walking down the street there with all the homeless people. But nonetheless, I did it, and it was expensive to live there. I thought for a one-bedroom apartment, it was pretty expensive. But apparently now in Nashville, they're saying it's cheaper to rent than to buy. It's cheaper to rent than to buy in Nashville and other top metro areas. The cost to buy a home versus the cost to rent is going to stay higher for a significant amount of time, says Joel Sanders, founder and CEO of Apartment Insiders in Nashville. I guess it's because if you're buying, you're going to have to pay a higher interest rate, and that really jacks up the cost of your mortgage, which many people look at as a rent payment. But these apartments, their mortgages came through a long time ago when interest rates were low. Sanders admitted that he doesn't see this trend reversing anytime soon. Even the most optimistic forecast that I've seen show it's going to be this way until, you ready for this, 2029. Many people think it's going to last longer than that. Boy, if you've been trying to get into a home and you've been waiting for interest rates to come down, that's pretty sad news right there, because this is all driven by interest rates. 2029, if interest rates remain high for that long, then, you might want to think about renting. According to Realtor.com, the average cost of a mortgage on a starter home is, want to make a guess, Chris?
What did we talk? Monthly payment or
average cost of a mortgage on a starter home in Nashville?
$2,000.
$2,955.
Good grief!
While the median rent in Nashville, the rent is $1,589. That means if you're trying to buy a house right now, you're paying $1,366 more per month than it would cost you if you were to rent. Of course, there's different advantages. You get tax breaks on a mortgage. Mortgage rates have skyrocketed in the past few years, while rents have been, for the most part, maintained their steady growth rate. Nashville's not alone. In San Jose, it's $2,780 more a month to buy than to rent. In Austin, it's $2,165 more to buy than to rent. In Denver, $1,312 more to buy than to rent. Even if interest rates start falling, Sanders says he's not sure it will make much of a difference. Say that even happened, the additional issue is that there's still a shortage of housing in the United States. There's more demand than there is supply, especially on the single-family side of things. The trend of rent being affordable has increased in the last year. Last year, it was only 45 major metro areas where that was true. Now it's 50, including Nashville. Wow. That's
glad I bought when I did.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if you're in a house right now and you have a reasonably, I when I bought the house here in Watertown, when we bought the house, I got a 5% loan. And I thought, boy, I hate to do that because, there for a while there was 2 and 3, 4% money. But 5, I thought, I've paid a lot more for that. But I'm telling you, for a lot of people trying to get into their first home, this is when interest rates are now, 6 and 7%. But the stunning and shocking thing out of this is this guy says it's not going to get any better until 2029 for 5 years. Wow. That's something. Ronna McDaniel got fired from NBC News after being a contributor for exactly one performance, one appearance on the network, because the talent got their nose in a snit and decided they didn't want to have her, and it was sort of a talent rebellion. I've never been in a news organization where a talent rebellion would have been tolerated. Because people who own networks and radio and TV stations, they're very quick to tell you this ain't your radio station, folks. That said, I mean, I have complete editorial. I can say anything I want to say. Nobody ever tries to do that, but when you start actively saying that your managers have made a huge mistake, that doesn't generally go over well in any business, especially not in broadcasting. So they fired her. She basically made one appearance. She's going to get paid $600,000 on the way out the door. $600,000 for her contributor contract, which means that her one appearance comes to approximately $500 a second. That's
not bad.
It's good work if you can get it. But two people familiar with the RNC's planning for the upcoming convention said the committee would control access to the perimeter around Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, where the convention is taking place. Could have been Nashville. It's going to be in Milwaukee. The RNC, they said, could restrict access to space for live shots, the transportation it plans to run, and the hotel space it's overseeing. During the 2016 campaign, the House Periodical Gallery, which ran credentialing that year, said it would refuse any potential order from the Trump operation to bar outlets. But the Trump campaign at various points in the campaign declined to credential certain outlets, including Politico, to Trump's events, although it ultimately did not try to block them from attending the convention. The headline on this story, RNC weighs limiting NBC's access at the summer convention. It's a dangerous game that you play. I've actually have a lot of knowledge about this whole process, and probably more than I would ever care to share. You'd be bored to death with it. But the decisions are largely made by the House Radio TV Correspondents Association, the Radio TV Correspondents Association. They make these plans, and there's a staff that has traditionally taken this responsibility to plan for access. Because a long time ago, politicians decided, I think wisely, that they didn't want to be in the job of deciding, well, you're a journalist, but you're not a journalist. You're a journalist, but you're not. They didn't want to be put in that position. So they set up this quasi-board to sort of adjudicate these matters made up of journalists. And I served on this board not once, but twice. I was the chairman of the Radio TV Correspondents Association. And so we had to make those decisions. And mostly we just handed it over to the staff. But there were times when people would come and say, well, this guy, is he a journalist or is he an activist? Is this person a journalist? And it was on both sides of the equation. Sometimes it was somebody from the left, sometimes it's somebody from the right. We had to make those decisions. We had to make those calls, but they didn't want to make it. But it sounds like, knowing Donald Trump and his complete control now of the RNC, that maybe he's going to be willing to say, I don't think you really were going to give me fair coverage, so I don't care if you come to the convention or not. That would be a huge thing for NBC if they got blocked from attending the convention. So, I don't know. I have a feeling that cooler heads will prevail over time, but, that when you start treating people with such disrespect, I think, there could be things that, it may be true that they will be allowed to attend the convention, but that doesn't mean anybody's going to allow to do interviews with them. That's an independent judgment that every person can make. Love this story. Your Biden administration is out there fighting for you, America. I want you to know they're out there fighting for you every step of the way. Kamala Harris has released a statement through the White House touting her ability to combat economic insecurity by creating hundreds of thousands of high-quality jobs. That's right. Kamala Harris wants you to know that she has created hundreds of thousands of high-quality jobs. They're just not in this country. Central America. Fact sheet released Monday, the White House provided an update on Harris's efforts to address the root causes of illegal immigration. I'll tell you what the root causes is, that you make it attractive to come to America. They'll give you a debit card where they'll put $350 on it every week, $1,500 a month. And then the next thing you know, they'll give you housing and they'll give you a phone and they'll fly you wherever you want to go. That's the root cause of illegal immigration, if you want to know my opinion. But they felt like, well, we need to find jobs in Central America. So they've been busy. The Biden administration, forget about you and me and the need for many people to find jobs in America. They went out and used U.S. taxpayer dollars to support as many as 23,000 private sector firms in northern Central America to create an estimated 250,000 jobs in Central America. Vocational training and job summits for residents in El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. Be better if, maybe you thought about battleground states, but no, they're very happy about this. She is the leader, of course, of the root causes strategy. She is the border czar. Remember when President Joe Biden tapped Harris to serve as the administration's border czar in 2021? He said, and I quote, "When she speaks for me." And what she has spoken in the last day or two is that I've created 250,000 jobs in Central America. Yeah, she's laughing. She's laughing. She thinks that's hilarious. Finally, this quickly. A survey of Americans finds that most Americans say that tipping has gotten out of control. Automatic tip prompts for the 25% of Chinese takeout, self-swipe card readers adding an 18% gratuity to a Steak and Shake bill, 15% tip for a $2.73 crawler at Dunkin' Donuts. This is what's happening. Nearly 3 in 4 adults now say that tipping is out of control in a survey released this month by personal finance website Wallet Hub. Another 64% agreed that a tip is something you should give when you feel like it instead of something you always have to give, and 78% of those surveyed favored banning automatic service charges for large orders. Nearly 3 in 5 said businesses are replacing employee salaries with customer tips. The culture of tipping in the fast food industry has undergone a significant change in recent years. Boy, that's really true. I mean, I don't mind paying for good service. I really don't. I don't have any problem at all at giving somebody who's given me good service a really good tip. No problem at all. But that it is expected or automatically added, or that, you go in and you're standing in a line to get your food, Chipotle, and you're waiting, to get your little, and you get to the end of it, and you've done all the work. Nobody came to your table, nobody bussed your table, and at the end of it, you give them the little card, and there's a thing. Would you like to add a tip? Well, I mean, you got to think that one over. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but is it out of control? Absolutely. 50 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock. You want an engagement ring that she'll be proud to wear? Well, there's only one place to go, and that's over at Genesis Diamonds. They've cornered the market on all the world-class designers. New York and Los Angeles-based designers are the best of the best, and every store wants them, but only a few make the cut. Well, you can be sure Genesis made the cut and has all the luxury brands, that women are asking for. Don't settle. Give her the ring of her dreams at Genesis. And don't think you'll pay more. Genesis has complete, ready-to-wear designer rings as low as $1,900. And, of course, no jeweler can beat the price of a Genesis diamond. Whether you want natural diamonds or lab-grown diamonds, Genesis has the guaranteed best prices and the highest quality, and only Genesis gives you a 120% diamond upgrade guarantee plus free service for life, all with no commission salespeople, no pressure. So get the deal you deserve on your diamond, Genesis Diamonds, and now with an expanded selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Check them out at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation.